Have you heard about all of the different ways you can shop with Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? You can either shop on our websites, sewingstreet.com and yarnlane.com. You can also order by phone by calling our friendly UK customer service team. For Sewing Street, call 0800 001 4433, and for Yarn Lane, call 0800 4700 600. And don't forget about the Sewing Street app. Here you can shop all of the Sewing Street products as well as watch the live shows from anywhere. You can download the app onto your smartphone or your tablet by simply searching Sewing Street in your app store. And one final thing, no matter how many times you check out on Sewing Street or Yarn Lane in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. Happy shopping!
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again.
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
Hi, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Sewing Street. Now, outside it's a little bit dismal, so it's a perfect day to be inside. So we have got some great things for you today, including, drumroll, we have got some Elna 680 Plus sewing machines. We really have them. We have only 10 though, and this is probably the last 10 that we will get this side of Christmas, and when we do get them again, they will be more expensive. Unfortunately, it's nothing to do with us. That's because prices have gone up everywhere. So they are on pre-order. We will be showing them later, and I will be showing you the machine and all the different features it's got, and it's got an amazing amount. But they are on pre-order and there are only 10. So I'm just warning you, if you're in for a sewing machine, what a great Christmas present. But before we get to that, let's start with the early bird. Now this is something that I actually love myself. This is the Sew Line glue pen with refills, so that's really handy to have. You get the refills with this particular early bird special. Can we hear the tweeting? Very sweet. Now this should be £12.98. Why do you want a glue pen? Oh, they are so handy. Now this glue pen actually, the pen actually comes with a refill, but you're also getting another pack of refills. And once you've got a glue pen like this, you will use it for so many different things. I use mine, surprisingly not to make little hexagons, which is very useful for that, but I actually use it for temporarily holding trims in place when you're going to add a trim or something, or ribbons, or zips, or pleats. you can temporarily, you can even use it if you're going to sew something like pleather or something like that, or faux leather or faux fur. You can temporarily put the seams together so you don't have to use pins, and you use a glue pen. So that's what you use it for. You use it for all sorts of different things. Now here, I'm just going to show it here on this template just to show what you could do. You could either put the glue on the paper template, or you can put it on the fabric. Now this glue, this one is a blue, so you can, and the other refill in the packet is white, and the refills you here. Oh, but look at this, the price. Did you see how it was? It was £12 something. It's now £9.98. Now, if you've already ordered it and you ordered it at the £12, don't worry, you're going to pay the lower price. You're going to pay £9.98 for this glue pen. So you can just glue along the fabric edges, and this glue is only temporary. It will not bung up your needle when you're sewing with it, but you're using it purely to temporarily hold fabric or trim or zips into place before you sew. So you see how easy this is to do. This is perfect for this particular task. Now the actual glue pen and the refills have been out of stock for some time, but we now have managed to get a nice large stock. But this is the lowest price we've ever put it out as a bundle. This is our early bird price. This just gets us going. Now it is only till midnight tonight. And when you've paid your P&P, remember, that's the one time you pay it today. So £3.95 P&P, and that will cover you for all your purchases all day today, whether you're going to buy this lovely Betty dress behind me, never know which way to point, or the Pinafore dress, fabulous patterns, and Adele's going to show us those. And I've got some amazing fabrics in a minute as well. But this, look at that. Look how easy that was to glue that in place, ready to be sewn. Doesn't gum up your needle. Easy to replace and put another colour in if you need to use another colour. It does just fade or wash away. It's water soluble, and it dries clear. So it's great that you can see that. You can see where it is when you're placing a trim, or if you're placing a lace or something like that, or a zip. You can see exactly where you put your glue, but actually it dries clear. And it is water soluble, so it then disappear. And you're getting the pen there, and you're getting the refills. So that's 6 refills here. So you've got 2 yellows, 2 whites, 2 pinks. You've got the blue in the pen, and you have another white here. So you've got plenty. That will keep you going for a very long time. And I promise you, once you use it and you think, why do I want to use a glue pen? I've used pins. No, once you start using it, you'll realise actually it's really useful to have. It really is. Temporary hold up hems as well. You can do all sorts with it. It's a temporary surface. You can temporarily glue appliques on as well. If you don't have any Bondo web to hand, glue them in place with your glue, and then they're ready to stitch in place. So it's really very handy little gadget to have in your stash of gadgets. So we have dropped that price from £12.98 to £9.98. That is our crashed price. And it really is the lowest off we've had on this bundle. It is only until midnight tonight, or whilst stocks last. We have got plenty of stock in. We did make sure we had plenty of stock. We've just had a delivery because we've been out of stock for so very long. Let me just do that little thing again here. The refills, the refill colours are great because you've got different colours if you want different colours. It doesn't really matter, but it does mean you can see where you glued. If, for instance, I can't particularly see that on this one here, but I could use a yellow or a pink, and then I could. Not that it matters at all. Doesn't damage the fabric, doesn't damage your needle or your machine when you're sewing. And then having glued that, I can just fold it round. So on this particular project here, this is getting my perfect little hexagons ready for my EPP. So you can also use it for foundation paper piecing. You can use it to position zips. You can use it to hold pleats together at the top, for bag making as well, for temporarily holding up a hem. I use it for positioning laces and trims. Nothing worse when you've sewn a trim and you think you've pinned it on a nice straight line, but as you sew it, it kind of goes off a little bit. Won't do that if you've used this glue. Now we do know that 50 people have already checked out, so that is a really good, well done you, because you really will find this a useful pen. Oh, we've got it's not across my bottom, it's across the bottom of the screen. Morning, thank you, lovely dress, thank you very much. This is a new look pattern. Actually, when I made this dress, fortunately I always buy 3 meters of fabric just in case, because I never know what I'm going to make. And I actually cut it out the other way up. And I went to my son and I said, are those flowers supposed to be going that way or that way? And he said, this way. So I had to recut it. So yes, that's how good I am at my flowers. Gardener by name, not by disposition. But thank you for that comment. So there we have it. This lovely Sewline glue pen, fabric glue pen. Today's special price, £9.98, which is the first time we've had this bundle at less than £10. If you paid your P&P, that's done for the day, and I'm sure there'll be other things that you're going to want to buy today, because I spy some fabulous fabric over there. So this is our special deal. Don't forget, it's the pen and the refills. This will last you many a day, it really will, and you will use it for all sorts of different projects. Look how easy it has been for me, who doesn't do English paper piecing, to glue those pieces onto the cards like that so that they're ready to sew together perfectly. A really lovely little thing. So do check out, because don't forget, it doesn't matter if you check out now and you've paid your P&P, you don't have to pay it again if you check out again. It's automatically registered that you've paid it. So do check out to make sure you definitely get this, because just because it's in your basket doesn't mean it's yours. Okay, so what have we got on today? Shall we look at the menu? We look at today's menu. So on today's menu, we have got fabulous fabrics, as I have already alluded to. Some really beautiful fabrics are coming up here. We have these in bundles, we have them by the ½ metre, we have all sorts here. We have with Adelle Rowland, the Sewgirl Betty dress. This is a really lovely shirt dress. This is her modelling it herself look. So she's going to show some of the techniques used to make it, and she has said to me this is easy peasy to make. It's a lovely dress, she loves it, she loves wearing it, and it is easy to make, which is the best thing, isn't it? At 10 o'clock, as I mentioned earlier, we have our sewing machines. We have particularly the Elna 680 Plus, so do have a look online beforehand. It is available to pre-order if you wish to. I will be showing this machine, and unfortunately will not be able to show everything it can do, because it can do so much, but I can show you some of the features of it. These are the last we will have before Christmas. This is 10 machines only, and it's definitely the last at this current price before it has to go up. We've negotiated this price, we've kept it, because we know people have been waiting to buy this, and we didn't want to say, okay, we've got it back in stock, but now it's more expensive. So we've got this last few at the price that we had before. And then we go on to another dressmaking show with So Different Scoop Pinafore, again with Adelle. We've got some lovely corduroys for this, and then you have the contrast scoop pockets. It's a really fun dress to wear, and again, another easy make. So we have got bundles, and they are already selling, so do take a look on the website. And then at 12 o'clock, we pop over to Yarn Lane, and we have a sock show. Lots and lots of socks. You can just imagine cuddling up in these socks, because they're lovely and warm and cuddly. And it's very popular at the moment, making your own socks, or knitting your own socks, I should say. So that's what we've got coming up at 12. So, let's say how to get in touch for anybody that's a newbie here. So you can message the studio at studio@sewingstreet.com. You can also contact us on Facebook, Sewing Street TV, although my Facebook's not working today, but Hannah will be able to pass stuff on. And of course, you can also go onto the website, www.sewingstreet.com. And then you click on Watch Live. And then you can scroll down, there's a message box. Oh, there's Hannah saying hello. And then you send your message, and again, she can pass those on to us. And then there's everything that's there that's on pre-order. So this is all coming up in today's show. When we play different items through, 2 columns will appear. One is today's show deal, and one that's pre-order. If you want to get ahead, you can just pre-order. If you've got to go out, if you've got to walk the dog, if you've got to go make a coffee, you can actually pre-order. And now some of these fabrics that we have on this first show, we only have a limited quantity. So if you're very keen on any of these fabrics, then it is a good idea to grab them ahead of time. So do think of pre-ordering. And then we're going on to the next shows with the next fabrics we've got there. Look at these, all these beautiful fabrics in bundles, as well as the habby that you need to go with them. See the cord. You can see go down. Here's the machine. Now this machine is the 680. So this is actually, we're selling this at £1,099. That's literally just over £1,000. It's £100 cheaper than you'd normally get it for. So it's a really good deal. And then of course, more fabric, of course, because you need your fabric to make the 2 dresses. So we've got to go straight into these beautiful fabrics that I've got here. Which one shall I start, Hannah? Oh, okay, yes. Now, these are still at their original early bird price. And this can't happen anymore because we've got a new system. So these are 1-inch hexagon and you get 100 and there's their card. They got 120 GSM card. So it's a really good weight and you can reuse them and reuse them. And you get this basically makes it easier for you to use these hexagons as you saw me just doing to create your hexagon pattern pieces, but you just wrap the fabric, your hexagon pieces around that. And they don't have to be cut out perfectly. Am I allowed to say that? Because this is perfect. This has been cut by precision machine. And therefore, even if your hexagon isn't perfectly cut out, once you've wrapped the edges around, as I did just now, it now is perfect. I'm sure I've probably got some people out there saying, oh, no. But I really do think that's a really fabulous little thing. So there it is, £2.99, you get 100. They are reusable. But of course, you could actually get quite a few sets there if you wanted to. Saves all that cutting out of all these little paper hexagons. They're all done for you and they're precision. Nothing worse than trying to cut the same size thing again and again, because after a while you end up making them slightly bigger, slightly smaller, and you can reuse these. So very, very useful to have if you would like to do some English paper piecing. So if you've got today's other early bird, this is a good one. It was an early bird and you're getting it at the early bird price. But fabric, this range, look at this. Now this is all we have left of these. I'm just going to move those out of the way so they're not confusing them. We launched this collection this week and we are now limited, not surprisingly at all. Look at these beautiful fabrics. Now these are all by the ½ metre and we will let you know the stock that we have as we go through them. So let's start with this one on the top here. Look at this, I just love. Now we've only got 3 metres left of this. So if you're fancying this for a garment, you need to nab all 3 metres now. It's £6.99 for the ½ metre. And you've got bees. They are bees, aren't they? Bees. Bees and sunflowers. This has only been on once before. And now we're down to 2½ metres. Still do a shift dress. You can get it for a shift dress. Or, of course, you can use this for all sorts of other projects like patchwork and quilting. And can you imagine fussy cutting out one of these lovely flowers? You could, if I move that over there and show, if you just fussy cut out that and make that as an applique, that would be fabulous. So even ½ metre, you can get an awful lot out of that. It's such a lovely fabric. Lovely cotton. We then have, so that's, we're down to just like a couple of metres there, so go for that if you want to. But look at this, this coordinates beautifully well with that one. Now there are 2 colourways of this one. So again, we've got this one on sort of a mustard background. Very pretty, lovely quality cotton. ½ metres. We have got more of this one. So you can, and again, this would just make such a lovely backing for a quilt. Can you imagine that? Or I'm just going to fold it so that look at that, nice skirt, dress. I'd like that in a dress. I think that would look lovely. Or you could have it in this colour. So this one has got a nice sort of purpley lilac-y background. So this is from the Sassy Summer Salsa. I love that name. And it's a free spirit fabric, so you know it's a good quality fabric. The prices that we have for these free spirit fabrics is amazing. It really is. $6.99 for half a metre for free spirit fabric. It's really lovely. And you can, I mean, I can see this because it's not dissimilar to what I'm wearing. I can see this as a dress easily. But also I think it'd be lovely in a quilt. Because it's got a smaller print, I can see how you could easily use that on smaller sections of a quilt as well, or bag making. And of course, they always go together well, don't they? So you can easily combine these two. If you manage to get on, because we were very low on it, even putting those two together, they go well. So really beautiful fabric here. Lovely weight of cotton. Now this is the last chance probably to see a lot of these because we have got limited stock of them. Then our next one. Oh, now this also comes in two colourways. So which is the favourite? Can you guess which is my favourite? You'll have a look at both colourways and you can tell me. This is the yellow retro. I love this. Oh, probably up the right way though. So this comes in a half metre. So I'm only ever showing you half of the half. So this is a half metre. That's what your $6.99 gets you. So that's plenty there to make cushion covers, to make a bag, make a tote, use it, as I say, on quilting. Because of the design on this one here, it's quite, I love this, it's kind of like retro 60s look here. You can cut the diagonals and make those appliques. You can cut sections. You can use it for pockets. This would be great actually for the pockets on the Pinafore dress we've got later. It's really lovely, it really is. Really beautiful print. Again, you've got that same quality fabric. So this is one of the two colourways, $6.99 for the yellow. Sort of really pretty flowers on there. But we also have it in another colourway. Let me show you the next colourway. So this one, we've only got 9 metres on this one, which is not a lot of meterage. Look at that. Oh, up the right way again. So this is directional. Look, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So this, I have to tell you, if you didn't know, this is my favourite of the two. Well, I probably would make a dress out of it. I do like making dresses, you know that. But I can actually see it for other things as well. I do see this as a cushion cover as well. I just think that would look so lovely as a cushion cover. Or you could use it in a quilt. I mean, again, you can see patches of that. I just love the way you've got a stripe through it, but it's a diagonal stripe. But it's really lovely. Paul wants to make an apron. He always wants to make an. Does that mean he's a really great cook? I want to know. He's a decent cook, apparently. He is a decent cook. I'm pleased to hear it. So isn't that lovely? I love all the colours on there. And again, they just all work well together. So you can bring those back in and you can see how these prints will all work together. All picking up that same summer sassy salsa. Really lovely. Great quality. Do check out on this because this one we've only got 9 metres of this left. We haven't got enough to make bundles, which is why we're not bundling this set. So really beautiful fabric there. And then this one, and again, 2 colourways. Look at this, this is orange. Now this one is, you can have this sort of all over because you've got the stems going down and up, etc. So it doesn't matter which way you have that. You can have it up or down. Really nice, lovely, lovely colours. Again, these vibrant colours for the summer sassiness. Beautiful quality cotton. what's this one called? Orange Daisy. Orange Daisy. Or is that just our name for it? Probably. It's not an orange daisy really, because it's a lilac daisy on an orange background. But you know what we mean. You know what I mean. And it's really lovely, really good quality fabric. Feels great. But we also have it in another colour. We have it in green. Look at this, but it's not green green. This is a lime green. It's beautiful lime green. Oh, but look at this. The flowers are smaller. Look at that. So they actually do go together as well. But this time our daisies are smaller. But again, you've got stems going down, stems going up. So it doesn't matter whether you have it up or down. It can work both ways. Lovely quality. I always like to check whether will it gather, will it pleat, will it fold? Yes. Look at that, beautiful. It does flow, absolutely gorgeous. Then we have another one, and this one we only had the one of. There was another colourway, but it sold out. So this one, let's see how we get the ½ metre again, because all the time I've only been showing you half of them, but if I open that all the way out, look, you can see it's sort of panelled. So that's selvage to selvage. That's your ½ metre. Now we do only have 12 metres of this. It's not a huge amount, and I think what I like about this one, look, if we turn it the other way, you've got a nice border there. And although it's only 2 colours, it looks really rich, doesn't it? You can really sort of see depth in that. But I think that's lovely. It has got sort of an Indian feel to it, I think, with that pattern on there. Really beautiful. So again, you can use this for borders and all sorts, because it's got a natural border in it. And then we have the last 2 from this range. This one, look at this one. Oh, this is pretty. Got to see which way up it goes. That way, I think. What is it called? Marigold. Okay. This is, can't you can see, Paul can see a maxi dress. You can see something long and flowy to really make this lovely big print stand out. Kimono as well. That is really lovely. So this is the whole piece, look. If I hold up the whole piece. So this is £6.99, and look at that, beautiful. I love that flower. I'm not sure it's a marigold, but I love the flower. Now this is in one colourway. This has got these lovely deep colours and these sort of oranges, oranges and purples and greens and browns. Very bright. Because I always think if you make something like this as the back of your quilt, you've got a quilt that's double-sided, because this in itself is stunning. So we have that. And then we have the final one, which is the same design, but again, not the same. The same, but not the same. Because you've got the same design, but they're smaller. So those little flowers are smaller. So look, isn't that lovely? So they do go together as well. And again, of course, you know, like all the rest of things, it's like when you do get collections, you can bring in the other pieces and they will go together. So if you're thinking of a quilt and you want to mix all these pieces, you could get a ½ metre or 2 metres or 1 metre or whatever of all of the different ones, and then you've got your own little bundle yourself. Really beautiful. £6.99 for the ½ metre of that. Now, these are all by the ½ metre because we're limited on stock on some of them. Very limited, and limited on all of them, but some very limited. But we do have a big mega bundle for you as well. So that's when you don't have to make the choices, they're made for you. That's this one here. Now we have had this on just once before. You get half a metre for free when you get this mega bundle. Can you see that? And we have got a few smaller bundles from this. So let's have a look at this one first. So this is £134 52 482 134.82. If you look on the website, you will be able to see the smaller bundles and you will be able to see them all individually as well. This is a bundle of how many pieces? 1, 2, do we know? 3. Double 9.5. Oh, I see. Okay, well 9 doubled is 18 and a half doubled is 1, so it makes 19. Why didn't you just say 19? You're just trying to make it hard for me. Okay, so this is the first one. Let me just lay them all out for you to see. I'm going to lay them out this way up so you don't get distracted by the that label. Look at that, they're so beautiful. Some of them are bigger prints. I'll pull those out in a second to show you. Some of them are simpler. All these beautiful colours. Oh, look at these lovely trees. And then the blues again. There's just so many here. Well, there are 19 here. There are 19. They're 2 times 9.5, as Hannah said. I love these sort of smudgy, marbly ones. So look at that, all of that in that bundle. Let's look at some of these big prints. Does it matter which one I go to, Paul? Because it's all as a bundle, isn't it? It's all a bundle. I'm going to go for trees. Look at these lovely trees. See, I can see some really lovely furnishings for a children's bedroom in all these lovely colours, because they're pastel, but they're not plain. They're not light pastel. They're sort of brighter pastels. That's really lovely, isn't it? That trees. There is so much. There's so much to look at in this bundle. And again, the bundle is being put together so that you'll get not only a piece of all of these lovely different fabrics, but that they all go well together. So I'm going to pick out this one here. Look at this. So again, you've got a mixture. You've got the big prints and then you've got little prints, little all over prints. So these are great for the smaller bits, for borders, for handles, for pockets. Or if you wanted to, for a little girl's dress. That would be so cute. So again, this is all part of this mega bundle, which is £134.82 for the mega bundle. Beautiful soft cotton as well. It feels lovely. I said I loved this one. Let's look at this one. We are going to have some of these by the half metre, and we think this is one of them. So if you can have, and again, you can have a look. You don't have to wait for us to show them all because we won't get to show everything. So you can pre-order on the website and have a look and see which ones are. Isn't that lovely? Just an all over sort of splodgy cloud, really. But you can use that as sort of filler pieces and borders and sashing, something a bit different to plain. Or some nice intricate shapes. You haven't got to worry about cutting into a print. So this is Moda, isn't it? So it's Moda fabric, which of course we all love. There are only 8 of these bundles remaining. Talking about those trees just now, look at these. So I've got the trees again here, but these are little trees, not the big ones. You can get it on split pay, of course, because it is over £100. So your split pay option is 2 payments of £67.41. I love this. You don't have to take split pay, but it's a little option if you're thinking, yes, I really like that, but can I afford that much this month? You don't have to. So this is the big bundle. Now, Hannah has made smaller bundles out of these. So I'm just going to pop these to one side so I don't mix up the bundles. If you have got this big mega bundle in your basket, do check out, because we are down to 6 now and it's not yours until you've checked out. This is just, it's our big pile right in the way. Can I put it on my head? See, could I balance it? Do you remember doing that when you were younger, having to walk with a book on your head? You don't know you're born, you younger people. This is the green bundle. So this is 1.5 meters altogether. It's 0.5 meter of 3 different pieces which go beautifully together. So if you don't want to have the whole bundle, you can go for this. This is our green, 22.47 for the 3.5 meter pieces. So this is the one I showed you just now. And we will do these by the 0.5 meter as well. So this is the bundle. This is that green that we looked at just now. So remember, that is a 0.5 meter. I'm only showing you half of it just so I don't open every single one up, but that's what you're getting. And as well as this one, we're also getting one of the trees. So we get this tree. This is the one we saw earlier, I think. Yes, it is. So this is from the same as was in the mega bundle. Just 0.5 meter of this. So again, don't forget that is half of what you get. That's what you get, that whole piece there. That's really lovely. Curtains, duvet cover, bumpers for a cot. Then we have this one, which is more smudgy. That's nice too, isn't that lovely? So that comes part of this 3.5 meter bundle. So it's 1.5 meter. Now, okay, that's a bundle, but you can buy them as a 0.5 meter piece on its own. So this one in front of me here is our first one. We are limited on this one, so it's £7.49 for this Moda 0.5 meter bubble. What have we called it? Watercolour multi-bush, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I guess. Watercolour multi-bush, yes. But look at those beautiful colours. Then we've got the green smudgy one that we've seen just now. And we've called this Green Cloud. Oh, not that one, this one. So this is Green Cloud. This is only half of it, of course. Look at that. I love that because I think that's got a lot of uses. It is like somebody's just splashed all these colours on to something that's soluble, and they sort of then just soak into the fabric. It is cloud, green cloud. Very nice. And then the trees. Watercolour multi-forest. This is lovely. Isn't it gorgeous? We don't think the photo on the web does this justice because you only see a bit, but this, it goes across. So again, this is, if I show you the whole width here, this is the width of it. Look at that. Wouldn't that be fabulous curtains? But even as a wall hanging. Or you could make like a pin board thing, bulletin board out of it. You can make cushions. You could add all sorts to that. You definitely could. You could use some free motion embroidery on it, put some wadding behind it, free motion embroider around, or even hand embroider. Little hand stitching on there would look lovely. You could even add beads and things depending on what you're making for it. Just even a smaller piece, if you just take that half of the half, be a fabulously big cushion, put wadding behind it, do some embroidery on it, whether it's by hand or machine. Could really make something really beautiful out of just a small piece of fabric. This is the first time we've offered this by the 0.5 meter on air. It is a beautiful piece. It is a treat, Paul. It is a treat. It's a beautiful piece of fabric. I love it. And it is really, you can't feel this because you haven't got it at home yet, but it is so lovely and soft. But you could look at that as a border. Even though you don't necessarily get the idea that it's a tree so much, but look how much it's going on there. That looks really nice, doesn't it? Really beautiful. Now, we have another little bundle from this big pack. This one is called Autumn Walks. This is like when the sun goes pinky. Is that in the morning or the day? So this is this is a bundle for £22.47 as a half metre. It's half metre times 3, £22.47. This is the first one. So again, it's those trees, but this is in our Fanciful Forest Autumn Walks. So that is the first one. I'm not going to fold it up neatly because we're going to do it as a bundle, sorry, as a half metre in just a minute. This one here, this is our clouds. Look at that in the pinks. Oh, is that gorgeous? That is fabulous. I love all those colours. Do you like my pinks? Really pretty, really soft. So you can use this in a big piece. I mean, I could see that as the backing of something. I can also see a dress in it. Of course I can see a dress in it. But you can, if you just quarter it, look, you can see, you can do your triangles and things. You'll just get splodge. Ah, beautiful. Half of the stock of that has already gone in bundles. This bundle has already gone into the basket. So be prepared. Oh, look at this one again. So this is our bushes. This looks like ice creams. So all three are in the bundle, in this bundle for £22.47. There are only 5 bundles remaining on this, so please do check out if you have it in your basket. I don't want you to lose it if you want it. Beautiful. By the half metre. Look at this bushes. I have to stroke it because it's a beautiful soft cotton. It's lovely. And again, because it's sort of like an all-overy print, even though it's got sort of all these different colours and shapes, it won't matter how you cut it up, it will look fabulous. It looks, I mean, it feels so soft. I think this would make a beautiful little pair of dungarees for a child. But imagine if you have that as a border. Just a narrow border. I'm going to just turn it like that to get rid of that label. You get so many colours there, just in even fairly like 2-inch strip. It looks beautiful. I think this one's going to sell out, so if you're interested, please get it. Splodge, let's go for splodge. I love this one too. Beautiful splodge. Isn't it lovely? And again, you can just see just a little bit of it. Oh, you can't when I do it like that, but you could just see a little bit. Even if I put, let's have one of these. Can you imagine this is part of your quilt? And you've got that, I'm not going to be able to wrap it all the way around it, but if I just kind of wrap it like that, can you see where I'm going there? Can you see that? You get so many colours and you could just make some really beautiful pieces if I do it on a darker bit. Or you could fussy cut with these things as well. See, I do know some of the words. Look at that. Doesn't it look amazing? So this fabric is so good for all sorts of things, isn't it? It's just beautiful. Pop that back in there in case we sell that one. And then we have the pink forest, which I love, and I just think this would be so beautiful. Now these are the only ones we have by the half metre. If you search the collection on the website, you will see others there. Look at that. We've just picked out our favourites for the show. Beautiful. gathers, pleats, whatever you want to do with that, that will do well. I see it as beautiful curtains in a nursery. I think it's gorgeous. Some lovely furnishings there. You can mix and match all of these. Really, really beautiful. That's that. So that is by the half metre. So that is £7.49. So the big metal bundle, which is all of that range. Now there are only 4 remaining of this, and you get all of those. So you get the little green bundle, you get the little pinky bundle, but actually all the others as well, because you get 19 pieces of half a metre. So this is amazing. £134.82. I have to look at the screen with the letters in big. We do take split payment on this one if you want it. It is interest free, so your first payment, and you pay your first payment today and you'll get your bundle, and then you pay the second payment in a month's time. Look at that, look, it just doesn't fit all on the screen here. I'm just opening them out. Look at them all. So many. Beautiful collection. Really beautiful collection. So absolutely one to go for. Now, yes, we do. We have. This is we've got a completely different bundle now. So if you're not into all these lovely brights, I think this next one will be your cup of tea. Do you like that little pun? So the next one, I say that because, can I reach across and bring it over? Look at this. And we have cups of tea. If you search on the website, what do you search for? Tea with B on the website. All these are available by the half metre. But here and now we're doing this as a huge mega bundle. How many pieces have we got in this one? 24, 12 metres. We have 12 metres of fabric here. So it's a considered purchase for £172.27. But you can buy this in 0 interest split payments, 3 split payments of £57.42. So it's £57.42 for 3 split payments, and you get all of these. And again, you have a mixture here with sort of bigger prints, with smaller prints, with all over prints. Let's pick out some. We've got to pick out the teacups, haven't we? Now these come in 3 different colourways. Oh, we'll do these in a minute because we're going to offer these by the half metre as well. So let me show you those in a second by the half metre. Okay, let's go floral then. Look at this. So here we have a beautiful floral. I'm just going to see, is there a right or a wrong way? Not sure that there is. Isn't that beautiful? She was inspired by her grandmother's teacup collection. Oh, don't take me back to Debbie Shaw's milk jugs. So look, this is lovely, isn't it? Lots of colours going on here, lots of little colours right in the detail. Very, very, very pretty. By getting the full range, you get all a different scale of prints. So you've got the mid-size prints, you've got little tiny prints. So it's a lot going into your stash, lot of views. If these are your kind of colourways, this is one to get. It's really beautiful. So we have the floral there, you see. So you've got that one. And then you have the same again in 2 different colourways. This is all in this same kit. So that's 3 of those. Then we have, let's pick out one. Oh, this one here I think shows it well. So again, we've got this. This is in 3 colourways. It doesn't have to just be used with this collection. You can add this to your stash, and then you know you can use this with other things as well, because this is a fabulous all over print. Can you actually see the detail? It looks like little leaves or grass, little grass. You see, it's really pretty. Light, really light, pretty print there. Again, lovely fabric, lovely soft cotton. And this particular print has 3 options again. So you've got it, this is all in the bundle, so you have it in this sort of green, we have black with white, and then we have a more moss green. All in this big, big bundle. Big bundle. Anne has told us, morning Wendy, great to have you back on our screens. Thank you. Looking lovely as usual and love the dress. Thank you very much, Anne. That's really sweet of you to say. I'm very pleased to be here. Did you notice I'm a little bit brown? Been on holiday. Been on holiday. And it was fabulous. And now we have this little print. And again, I have this in 3 colours. This time I'm going to go, look at this one, this blush pink. This would just make, oh, this would make such lovely little gift bags. It really would. Let's see if I can get it up the right way. So this is a directional print. No, it's not actually. No, some flowers are going that way, some flowers are going that way. So it doesn't matter. You can have it up whichever way, which I always find useful. So this would make beautiful little bags. It would be nice, you could, again, it's almost sort of in rows. So you can actually sort of use this as well for strips, for sashing. You can cut it smaller. Now we have teacups on their own. We like these. We like these teacups. So don't forget that this is the one bundle and you're getting all of these. Each time you're getting a selection of colours to go with everything. Let's pop those to one side because we need to look at the teacups. So this is with the pink background. This is blush pink. Look at these. These are Hannah's star of the collection. These lovely, aren't they lovely teacups? They would really be lovely for fussy cutting. I think, again, if going back to these hexagons, because I've got them here, but I always think of covered buttons and things as well. But if you use one of these little hexagons and you have it around one of these teacups, let's go for this one here. See if I can kind of centre it and fold it around. Who needs a rotary cutter when you can just do that? Look at that. You could really fussy cut all of those little teacups. Just move it till it's right. Isn't that lovely? So this is one of the teacup ones because we have these in different colourways as well. So don't forget you can buy this by the half metre, £7.49 for half a metre of the blush based teacups. And we also have it with a blue background. So again, it's the same set of beautiful cups. You could do lampshades with this. Oh, you could definitely do roller blinds. You can certainly do things for the kitchen, can't you? So it could be appliance covers, it could be placemats, coasters. You could do some coasters with little cups on them. So you could have this like really beautiful. If you've got a dining table in the kitchen, what about some nice cushions for the chairs? Because they're not all often very soft and comfy, are they? So have some cushioned seats. Really lovely. And you could make, Paul could make his apron out of this. It'd be appropriate. You could make an apron with cups. Now the one on off-white, which is our third colourway of this, is very limited. So if you like the crisp, clean white, it does make the cups really pop out, doesn't it? £7.49 for the half metre. So again, these look really great. I love all these beautiful cups. Lovely soft cotton. I think this does make a good apron actually. I've got to agree with Paul. If you were in a cafe serving tea and coffee, or if you do a Macmillan tea party or something, can you imagine you could make some little gift bags or something out of these? Definitely do a mug rug. You like it in a quilt? Yeah, you could. Right, so that is our 3, but don't forget they come in this big mega bundle as well. So you can have those individually, or you can get them all as part of our big mega bundle. And we've also got another bundle which I have to get to you quickly, so don't forget, do have a look at these, and you can get the rest of them by ½ metre too. But we've got to go for this next bundle. I'm just going to make sure I don't lose those. This is called Moda Cottage Blue, so it's French blue. Let me just move those, and I can bring that in. If you search it on the website, you can buy the individual pieces by the ½ metre. But shall I pick one out and look at them? Because these 3 look quite similar, but let's see how beautiful they are. Again, this is Moda fabric, so it's really gorgeous. £67.41 for this bundle, which includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. 9 ½ metres. So that's 4½ metres in total. This is our first one. Look at these are hydrangeas with butterflies. Isn't that gorgeous? Again, very summer. If you've got a conservatory, make some soft furnishings to go in the conservatory out of these beautiful colours. It's really lovely. I love these. Lovely little butterflies on them. So that's one of our blue floral. Let's look at the next one. So this is all part of this bundle. So it's the same as the hydrangea, but this time, rather than a white background, we have a pretty soft yellow background. Not sure there's a right and the wrong way up, so I'm going to turn it round. Don't think so. Really beautiful. Can you look at the depth of colour on those hydrangeas? Did I say yes? Yes. With the butterflies and the leaves. Really pretty. Soft cotton. And then the third colourway on this particular piece, I'll just do it quickly because we've so few minutes left. So this time it's got a soft minty green background. So it's these lovely hydrangeas again. You get all of this in this bundle. But you've also got, of course, some coordinating smaller prints, always, all from the same collection. So these are, again, so it's all in the same bundle, so it's all the sort of same colourways. You've got, if you put those with that, you've got there, and then you've got the white, and then you have the blue. So they all sort of go well together here, the white. But you can mix them as well. There's nothing stopping you from doing that because they're all from the same bundle. And as well as those, we have got these prints here. So again, so basically you have 3 of each of the designs, the prints, in the 3 different colourways in this bundle. And this is the butterflies. Now, the most popular bundle we've shown this morning is, I'm going to show you it again, is that lovely big forest one. This one. There's only 3 remaining. There's only 3 remaining of this one. This is this beautiful bundle. This is the blues, the pinks. Oh, another blue. Just put the blue there. Look at it. Isn't it beautiful? So we've only got 3 of these left. So if you are interested in this, please do grab it now. Don't miss your chance. And then we have the greens. I mean, I can't tell you enough how beautiful these fabrics are to fill as well. They really are gorgeous. All these lovely greens. And they are, of course, Moda quality. And then we've got all of the greens. Look at those. Now, do remember we have got the 680, Elna 680 sewing machine on pre-order. This is the last time this year, before Christmas, that we are going, if it sells out, if we are going to be able to bring it to you. And this is the last time we can bring it to you at this price, because we have twisted Elna's arm to let us sell it at this price, because we wanted to bring it back to those people that we knew were waiting. It is on the pre-order, so do take a look. We'll be showing it to you in more detail at 10 o'clock. But before then, we have Adelle joining us, the very talented Adelle, who has made, she likes to wear what she's made, look, just as I do, and she's made this dress and loves it, and she said she can't wait to make it again in other fabrics. She will come back to us with me after the break.
Hello, I'm Adelle Rowland. You may have seen me on shows already. My passion is in dressmaking. I've been sewing now for about 4 years, completely self-taught. I've actually learnt a lot from the mistakes that I've made. In my normal day job, I'm actually a secondary school science teacher, and one of the things that dressmaking has brought is the conversation starter with my students about the dresses, the tops, everything that I've made. I have 2 young daughters and a wonderful husband as well. One secret or surprising fact about me is that I actually have a silver world medal for Irish dancing. My dressmaking top tip is always remember your notches. Don't skip that part with dressmaking, because those notches are very important to line up all of your seams. I can't wait to bring more dressmaking projects to you and get more people sewing.
Follow Sewing Street and Yarn Lane on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with what's coming up on the show, as well as being the first to know about our amazing offers. Get involved with our competitions that are exclusive to social media. And pick up some top tips from us too.
Hi, it's me Neil, and I have a surprise for you. I've been scouring the warehouse, and for the entire week starting Monday the 13th of September to Sunday the 19th of September, I'll be bringing you a manager special every day. So for 7 days I'll be here live bringing you an amazing auction with amazing savings. So make sure you tune in and don't miss out.
Is that okay, Elliot? You're not going to do anything funny with my voice, are you?
No, of course not. Of course not.
Stuck for ideas for the perfect gift? Why not get them a gift card? You can buy Sewing Street and Yarn Lane gift cards loaded up with anything from £10 to £500. Shop our gift cards online at www.sewingstreet.com or www.yarnlane.com, or purchase them via our UK call centre on 0800 001 44 33.
Hello, I'm Adelle Rowland. You may have seen me on shows already. My passion is in dressmaking. I've been sewing now for about 4 years, completely self-taught. I've actually learnt a lot from the mistakes that I've made. In my normal day job, I'm actually a secondary school science teacher, and one of the things that dressmaking has brought is the conversation starter with my students about the dresses, the tops, everything that I've made. I have 2 young daughters and a wonderful husband as well. One secret or surprising fact about me is that I actually have a silver world medal for Irish dancing. My dressmaking top tip is always remember your notches. Don't skip that part with dressmaking, because those notches are very important to line up all of your seams. I can't wait to bring more dressmaking projects to you and get more people sewing.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay 1 postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay 1 P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day.
Stuck for ideas for the perfect gift? Why not get them a gift card? You can buy Sewing Street and Yarn Lane gift cards loaded up with anything from £10 to £500. Shop our gift cards online at www.sewingstreet.com or www.yarnlane.com, or purchase them via our UK call centre on 0800 001 44 33.
Hi, welcome back. Look at me standing here with this beautiful pattern in front of me. This pattern is a Sewgirl pattern, and we know Sewgirl patterns because they are beautiful patterns, really well presented. And there's the beautiful Adelle modelling the dress that, did you make this one that you're modelling?
Yes,
that's the sample you've made, which is behind me. So it looks absolutely stunning and just goes to show how lovely it looks on there. The pattern range goes from size 8 to 22, but I'm going to tell you what that means in inches, because we should, as I always say, don't choose by your size because you are never sure what that might be. So 8 is a 32-inch bust up to a 22, which is a 46-inch bust. So there we are, you can see that. That is the back of the packet. Tells you the sizes. So it goes out to really good size range here, and what you do is you make the size according to your measurements. Don't worry about it if it's not the same size as other patterns or not the same size of ready to wear. It's totally immaterial. What you do, choose it by your measurements, and it's all very clear on the back here what you have. It's got a nice description, explains what the dress is so you know, you can see, because it's always a good idea to read the description and see the line drawings. Because when you do that, you can actually see the detail, because you can't always see the detail in the photograph. And I also like the fact if you go to the Sewgirl blog, you'll get step-by-step instructions and pattern hacks. So the blog is sewgirlblog.com. Always loads of hints and tips on there. And she does do goes through the instructions, and she also has lots of hacks on it. I hate the word hack myself. So this is the dress. It's Fiona wearing the dress here. So you can see how different fabrics make it completely differently. That's Fiona wearing, and here it is again. Look, it's in the plain denim. And this is Hayley. So lots of different ideas there, and here you've got the back of pattern envelope. Now I'm going to carefully try and open this because I also want to show you this pattern is £18.50, but it's really hard to open carefully, but I'm going to try. I want to open it and show it to you because I think it's really important that what you're getting in here is good value for money. It's beautiful quality paper, so you get lovely paper for your pattern. You've got different sizes, all the different sizes, and each of the sizes has a different type of line. So I'm not sure how clear you can see that on there, but you've got like a large dot, small dot, etc. So each line is different. So that makes it easier for you to follow the line you need to follow when you're cutting it out. Nice and simple there. Good quality paper. You can use this again and again. So all the different pattern pieces, no tracing off. They're all on individual sheets, not on the back. And then I think one of the best points about this is the instructions. So these instructions are lovely and easy to follow. Nice little booklet, absolutely everything from getting started, what your seam allowance is, and it's always important to read that because different patterns have different amounts of seam allowance, so it's useful to know. And then your layout, so how to lay the fabric onto the pattern onto the fabric. And then look at this, very clear instructions all the way through with nice photographs to help you. It's a good idea to read these through before you start. This one's got buttonholes, this dress. People often get worried about doing buttonholes. You have a machine like the Elna 680, look how I brought that together. You can make buttonholes easily and then get them perfect every single time. So really lovely instructions on there going all the way through. Any questions, do please get in touch because I'm sure Adelle will be able to answer them. She has made this dress more than once, so she knows what she's doing. But let's look at some of the fabrics that we've got to go with it. Now, the fabric that you're wearing in the picture and that we've got behind me, this is brand new today. And what we've done is we've bundled it in 3 metres. Now that is enough to make the largest size. So you do make a saving when you buy it as a bundle. So you get a 3 metre bundle and you're saving £4.95 when you buy this bundle. So it's a very lovely, this print, this colour will go through autumn, winter, won't it?
Yeah.
Black tights, little boots.
Oh, I've
Wouldn't
got
it
my
look
tights
lovely?
and boots on
Oh,
today
you
for the
haven't.
first time.
Not yet. No, I've got a bit tan. Not that I sunbathe without sun cream, I will tell you. I'm very careful, put 30 or 50 on. But yes, this is a beautiful colourway, but we also have this in a blue. So this is the one that Adelle has used for the sample she's made. So you can, it's nice to work with, isn't it?
Oh, it just went through the machine perfectly. So if you're a beginner, this pattern's a really nice pattern for you, and the fabric choices go with it really well.
Good, that's a really good one. That's good to know. And we've got the same if you prefer the blue. So it's the same little print. It's like a little tiny flower actually. It's sort of, you can see if I turn it there, you can see it's a little tiny flower. So it's like a little spot. And of course this is Moda fabric. So it's $39.99 for 3 metres. So you're saving $4.95 by buying the 3 metre bundle. And that would be enough to make the largest size. If you're making a smaller size, you'll have a little bit left over. So you can make a matching little bag, or you can put it into your stash for other things. We also have this one. This is the same collection, so it's brand new today, but this is the leaves. We've called this leaf stem. So again, you're saving $4.95. I love this print as well. So this is a cotton. You don't have to make a dress out of it. You can still get this, and you can use this for any other project. So it's a lovely cotton. All 3 of these are lovely cotton fabrics. Or if you've got a large quilting mind, you won't make the saving normally, so this would be a good buy for that too. So you don't always have to think dressmaking with these fabrics, and any more than you always have to think quilting. So that's those 3. Now we also have this one. This is different. This is a viscose chalet lawn. There's a ½ metre, you can buy it by the ½ metre, but this is a 3 metre bundle. Actually, it's probably easier if I open the ½ metre up to show the feel of it. So you're getting 3 metres, but this is very lightweight. This is very fluid, soft, flowy. This will give you a completely different look. I can see, because it's the colourway, I see this as more of an evening-y thing. Yeah, but again, you know, you could wear it. You could actually put like a long-sleeved T-shirt or something underneath it to wear for winter if you wanted to, couldn't you?
Like a roll neck top,
Yes.
black,
Yeah.
and black tights.
So again, this is really, you know, we're dressing you completely now. Nice little boots. So this is like, I just like the fact that with this dress, you can use different types of fabric, can't you?
Yeah, and it'll
So
give
we've got
sort
those
of a
cotton,
different
give a
feel.
different feel. This would be much more flowy. This would be very pretty, very flowy. So this is this one. Now, the one we're going to I say we, this is the one we are demoing, one Adelle's demoing, this is extra wide. So there's only 2.5 metres of this, but that will still be enough for the larger size if you want it. Now this is quite a sort of heavyweight, I would say, linen look. Is it actually linen? Linen look fabric. So it's an oatmeal-y grey. It's more oatmeal, I think. It is quite stiff. It's going to give a completely different look. And we'll see Adelle working on this and how it works. It's going to be completely different, isn't it, to look at this?
I think more of a tailored look.
Yes.
So more of a sharper, and I suppose the bow would be more accentuated as well, won't it? Because it's
Although
sort of stiffer.
you don't have to do the bow out of it.
No, because did you see on the Sewgirl, Fiona actually had a belt at
Yes.
one point, and another one where she had the pattern fabric, she didn't have anything.
Yes.
It was just...
So that's how you can make it
Yes.
slightly different, can't you? Now this is 80% cotton, 20% polyester, so it's a linen look. It's more oatmeal. It's more oatmeal than grey. So when you're thinking of that, it's sort of an oatmeal-y colour. In fact, if you look at the selvages, you can see. Can you see that colour? So it's a sort of oatmeal grey. Very lovely. So just recap on that pattern. I'm going to fold it up whilst you're sewing. So this is it. This is the Betty pattern. This is the Betty pattern by Sewgirl. Size is 8 to 22, which in measurements is 32 to 46 inch bust. So that's what you need to think of rather than the actual sizing. But it's a nice wide range there of bust sizes. Plenty for everybody there. And of course, if you, as most people are, if you're one size for your bust, a different size for your waist and a different size for your hips, you just graduate from one cutting line to the other. Makes it easy when you are doing multi-size patterns, much, much easier. Lovely paper for the pattern. All the pieces are on a single side, so no tracing off, alter size. Makes it nice and easy. And you can see what pieces you need. So it's very simple. How did you find the pattern?
Oh, it sewed up a breeze. I really enjoyed it. And sometimes, as more of an experienced sewer, you always go for the challenging patterns. But then when you get a simple pattern like this, it's just really nice. I sort of stick my movies on, headphones in, and just sew away.
Yeah.
So
see, I think sometimes a simpler pattern is great because time, it's quicker, but also you can make the fabric do the talking.
Yes, yes. And this colour actually, I really loved it. I've never ever worn, it's like a burnt orange, isn't it? Never worn that colour, and when I put it on, I was prancing around the house in it, taking photos in the mirror to send to my friends, because I just loved it. It's a really, really nice pattern. So we're going to see how much we can get done. Like I say, it's really simple, so I'm going to take you step by step of the way. I don't know how people are, but I do cut rather than trace my patterns. I suppose if you wanted to reuse this pattern and sew it for friends, or if you want to try more of a looser fit, then you can trace this off.
Yeah, I cut, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it is a personal preference. So I've got the bodice here, and we were talking earlier, weren't we, Wendy, about the shaping of this bodice?
Yes.
And there are no darts in it, so it can be quite a loose fitting top if you wanted it, or you can have it more sort of into your like contours, because I think the belt would pull it in at the waist. But we were also talking about if you had a fuller bust, you were talking about maybe putting a bust adjustment in, weren't you?
Yes, I probably would, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's lots of tutorials on there that you would put your bust start in there, but I didn't find that, because there's no shaping on here, it just fitted really nicely.
Yes.
So the seam allowance for this is 1 centimetre, and just like you said before, double check your seam allowance, because the pattern I've got coming up later is 1.5. Yeah. This one's 1. You don't want to get caught out with that.
No, because it can make a difference.
Oh, it will, because as well, once you put your facing on, it will all be wrong, but also the fit will be completely off.
Yes.
And it sounds crazy, it's only 0.5 centimetre.
Yeah, but that's only, it's not so bad if you've got 1 or 2 seams, but if you've got something with like princess seams, and, you know, suddenly you're going to be taking it in by 2 inches.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes a huge amount of difference. Okay, so let's get straight on. Now, the pattern is brilliant because it's a really clear set of instructions with illustrations and photos, and also it has a little glossary at the front. So like I said before, it's really good pattern for beginners, but there might be some terminology that you're a little still unsure about, and the glossary is there. So the first thing we've had to do is a bit of stay stitching. So if anyone doesn't know what stay stitching is, here we've got the front opening on a bias cut. So we don't want that to stretch out because fabric will stretch on the bias. So all I've done is just 1 line of stitching within the seam allowance, and I just take my stitch up slightly more, not to the longest because I don't want to gather it, but just, I went I think to 3.5, just to do along there. That will be completely hidden. You don't need to worry about taking that out at all. Okay, right, let's get on. So the first thing that we're going to do is sew our shoulders. Now with fabric like this, don't forget it's got a right side and wrong side. If you want to, you could also put like a little sticker on which side is the right side so you don't get mixed up. because you wouldn't want to have two
lefts.
fronts.
Or
Yeah.
two lefts or two right. That is, I mean, I would always say when you're working with plain fabric, mark the side you've decided is wrong with a chalk mark, or I should say a little piece of paper, a little sticky.
Yeah.
Just so you do make sure you put them together correctly.
Absolutely. Oh, and also let me just show you this sleeve. It doesn't fully go straight. Now mine's been folded up, but as you can see, we've got the shoulder here, and then the sleeve, it goes up and then back down. That will make more sense later on, but you do need to follow that shape as we go along this big long seam here. Don't just skip straight across, because that actually helps later on with folding and making the cuff, because the cuff is actually part of the bodice. It's not a separate piece that's added on afterwards. So we're going to sew our shoulder seams first. A centimetre seam allowance, and I'm just going to pin along as we go. So there we go.
I notice you're pinning along the seam.
Yeah, do you know what, as I watch other people sewing, I realise that I pin a little bit different, and I think it's just a habit I've got.
I know. Well, this is how we were taught when we were younger, and now they sort of say to put them at right angles, which does make it easier to whip them out.
Yeah.
But I still revert to along the seam more often than
I
not.
feel like as I'm putting it in, it's easier to handle.
Yes.
But
you do have to be more careful when you're sewing, that you have to pull them out before you get to them.
Earlier.
But don't pick your finger as you're coming off the seam. That's why right angles is better. But no, I'm like you, I do it that way.
If I tried a right angle, I just don't know if it... Oh, it's funny, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
You do find your own ways, and that is the thing about dressmaking. There's certain rules you have to follow, notches, but I think there's other rules that you can get comfortable
but
with
you
what
say
want
about
to do.
notches, but some people, and I don't do it, some people cut into their notches.
I don't.
See, no, because if you need to pinch a bit of that seam allowance, you can't.
Yeah.
I cut out.
So you cut out, or you can chalk. Or,
Yes, or chalk mark, or yeah.
Yeah, or like one of those pens, erasable pens.
Yeah, be careful with using those, because then you iron it, and then you've lost the mark you've just made.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's, they're all different ways of doing things, as you said.
It's just caught up at the back. There we go. There we go. So when we get to those points, do pivot around them.
Yes.
So the way I pivot is my needle on this machine, it's already down, and I just bring up the presser foot and pivot my fabric around.
Yes. So that's great, you can make that cuff easily. So Jan has said, I pin parallel like you, Adele. Good morning all. See, yeah, I know. We do. You're supposed to do it at right angles, but it's I do it like Adele does as well.
Yeah. Are we in the minority?
I don't think we're probably not, actually.
No.
As I say, it's easier to whip the pins out at right angles, but it's the way we were taught, isn't it?
Yeah.
You pin down the seam.
And then when people sew over pins,
no.
Oh, that really scares me. It really does.
Again, you're supposed to be able to if you've got them horizontal, but again, I wouldn't.
Oh.
Because I think if a needle did hit a pin, it would break, but it could cause damage to the inside of the machine. The bit of needle could fly up into your face. Oh,
yeah.
Don't like to think of all those things.
I accidentally left a pin, just purely by accident, in my overlocker as I went through, and it broke the blade.
Yeah.
So I am super careful now.
Yes.
And if I go anywhere near my overlocker, I actually do a line of stitching on this before I put it through, because I'm just too frightened that I'll find that stray pin just left in, and then it'll
you
break
see, now
again.
that is one time I definitely pin horizontally.
So that you can get them out easier, and
because
you can
they
see
stick
them.
out and you can see them.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I've done the shoulder seams, and now we're going to do the side seams here. Now, when you look at this, you think that's quite a short bodice, but the waistline does come up with the gathers. It does sit nicely on the waist, and it's not too low cut. That V-neck isn't too low. It fitted actually quite nicely. If you look on there, I never really wear anything quite low cut, so it felt quite comfortable for me. So maybe if you are unsure about the fit, or if you want to raise the neckline or change where the waistline fits, toilet with some cheaper fabric. And it,
Make a twirl.
twirl. So
You just said toilet. Sorry,
toilet.
very silly to be amused by it.
But
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Just use an old sheet or something like
yes,
that.
and it doesn't have to be the same weight fabric for this, because you're not really fitting it as such. You just want to know where those
Exactly,
lines
yes.
are. So yeah, an old bed sheet will be perfect for that.
One of my friends does. I mean, she likes to make a twirl with most garments that she makes, and she will use a cheaper fabric, but still quite a nice one.
Just
so
in
often she
case.
finds that the twirl she's made is another version. It's fine.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
a good idea, isn't it? To
Yeah,
have
so it's just a cheaper version, but
yeah, and having a stash just packed away for
Yeah.
projects like that are really good. If you see something on sale or...
yes, definitely.
So we're just going to do the underarm, and again, it does have a funny shape to this underarm. I'll just show this shape. So it doesn't go straight across, and there is a pivot point. So please don't forget those pivot points. Make sure you put them in. Otherwise, when you fold this up, it won't fold correctly and it will pull it.
Yeah, that's to make the cuff. It's like you get on hemlines and on cuffed trousers as well.
Yes. So just pivot around. There we go. And then slowly round the curve and down. So it's the same on either side. And I think you were saying earlier about buttonholes scare people. And they do, don't they? And I have to say, for many years, I was actually one of those people. But what I found changed my fear was the speed button, to slow it down, not keep it as fast. So now I'm not scared of buttonholes at all.
But with the automatic buttonhole foot that you get on most machines nowadays, that you put the button in the back of the foot, you can't go wrong. I remember the first dress I made with lots of buttonholes was way before you got buttonhole feet like that. And I had to make, it was sort of like a military style, so it had buttonholes up both sides and across the top like an extra panel. And by the time I'd gone up one side and long and down the other side, they'd got longer and longer. I had to end up having different size buttons. But now you haven't got that problem anymore.
I'm just going to clip in. I'm trying to find some scissors. Clip into this seam. Oh, I've only got pinking shears.
Try in the drawer, there might be some in the drawer.
Oh, there we go. So, because this underarm seam is quite narrow, the instructions talk about this, that we're going to cut into this here. And it's just a series of very small cuts. Don't go and chop your stitching line now. But that would just help the fabric move when you...
And I tend to do those at a slight angle.
Do you?
Just to help prevent any fraying.
Yeah. And it does also talk in the instructions about when to finish your seams. I'm not finishing seams today, but it does say at this point, finish the seam. And it's a really clear set of instructions. It even tells you which way to press the seams, everything. So as we pull that through, I'll give this a quick press and you can see that already the bodice is complete. So there we go. And there. So I'll just press these seams here. And I think I say this almost every time I come on. Press as you go. Don't leave it till the end. Don't leave it till the end because you'll regret it.
You should always press every seam before you sew over it again.
Yeah. And it does make a massive difference to the fit, to the look of the garment, everything. So just pressing these seams, and then we're going to get on with the skirt. Now, I don't think there's a side feature on the skirt where there's a small sort of, how do I describe it?
It's like a shirt
Yes.
hem. Yeah?
Yes.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. So
Can we see that on the side there? If I hold that up. Paul's going to try and get to me. Let's see, can we see that?
It's a really pretty feature. I think on the pattern I
Yes.
can show it as well.
Yeah, so it's like a shirt hem, isn't it?
And especially it gives that shirt look feel.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah. Shirt look feel, which is quite on trend at the moment.
It
sort
is,
of an
absolutely.
oversized shirt. And I think it would look really nice in just plain sort of white or light blue cotton. It would look lovely, wouldn't
Yes.
it? With a nice big brown belt.
Yeah, I mean it is, as you say, it's a fashionable design, isn't it, at the moment, a shirt waister. And I was saying about the pockets, I would leave the pockets off or
Yep.
possibly put inseam
Inseam.
pockets instead.
Yep, so inseam pockets are super easy to put in.
Yes.
You don't need, it doesn't have a pattern piece in here. You don't need to worry, you can just go and get one of your other patterns that has pockets and just feel where would you want your pocket to be
Exactly.
placed. I'd even think about that if a pattern even had pockets on the side. I'd still want to know, is that where my hands would fit?
Yes.
Because sometimes they might be a bit too
And,
low.
or a bit too high.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to put them where you want them, don't you?
But these have got patch pockets, which you can leave off completely. And I think especially if we got the patterned fabric, I would leave them off and just let the fabric sing.
Yes.
Really.
Or, you've got the problem of potentially, you've either got to match it perfectly or you've got to like put it on the diagonal or something so
Yes.
it's a feature.
Yeah, so that
contrast
people
feature.
don't go, what's happened to the fabric at that point? Yeah, absolutely. So these are the skirt pieces. And like I said, this is the point down here, which is indicated by a circle. And that is where you sew to. You don't sew fully down to the bottom. And there is a lovely curve on these edges, which I really like. I thought it was a beautiful feature. And also, there is suggestions of where putting your buttons. Some people stay with those, but I actually like to try the dress on and I pin because everybody's body is slightly different and your bust might be at a different point and you definitely want a button on your bust. Otherwise it will gape.
Yes.
So I always start there and then I find where all the other buttons are placed. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew these side seams and then the top is fully gathered around. So it's a nice feature. What do you like best, Wendy? Pleats or gathers?
For me, pleats.
Oh, why?
Because I've got a tummy and
Yeah.
gathers aren't particularly good on a tummy, but you can semi-sew down pleats.
Yes.
So I would pleat
sort of
it,
down
yeah.
to, you see, I love a gather.
Yeah,
And
but you're skinny.
Oh, no, but this is what I really like. Look, when a gather is slightly higher up, so it sits here and then it sort of goes over.
Yeah, it's all right when you're wearing a nice floaty outfit. But again, you see, I have to be careful because I'm fuller busted. If the gathering's too high up here, I can end up looking very pregnant.
Oh, because then it just goes
Yes.
out. Oh, but then that is the beauty of dressmaking, isn't it? Because
you can suit it to you,
change
yes.
it. Yes. You can
So
change it.
I would
exactly.
probably, I'd probably do what you're suggesting earlier, make a toile in a lighter fabric to see whether one I needed to do a full bust adjustment or not.
Yes.
And then also whether I prefer it gathered because it's going to be belted anyway.
Yes.
And it depends on the fabric. If you've got a really soft fabric, gathers are fine.
Yes.
If you've got a fabric that's crisper, I think pleats are better. So you can play around. All you've got to do is you've just got to reduce the amount of fabric at the waist to fit the bodice, haven't you?
Yes.
So you can do it either way.
Yes. Yeah. And the belt as well, you could make it thicker, thinner. There's ways to adapt that
Yes.
as well. So don't always feel that you're constricted with what the pattern is telling you. You really can take it and personalise it in any way. So I'm just pinning down till I get to the circle. And that's where we're going to sew to. So I'm going to sew from the top going down to prevent any sort of skew-whiff pulling on either side.
Yes, again, it's a good idea to always sew them in the same direction, isn't it?
Yes. Now it does talk about finishing these edges first. That's really actually very important because you've got this curve and when you sew it, they sort of open out. So you wouldn't be able to get this through the overlocker after the seam has been made. So you do need to do that point and finish your seams, well, edges first before seaming it together. So I'm just going to do these side seams. Here we go.
Just while you're doing those, shall we quickly look at these fabrics? Because you're just going to sew your straight seams, aren't you?
Yes.
So if you pop those through, because we've got those bundles that we showed you earlier, but also some of these fabrics are brand new, so we do have them by the half metre. Now, it seems a bit odd to say we have them by the half metre when we're doing a dressmaking show, but not everybody wants to use these for dressmaking. You might want to use them for craft projects. So this is a half metre bundle. So you actually get half a metre free if you buy this as a bundle. And this is a great bundle for other projects as well. Brand new Moda fabrics, and you get all of these in there. So if you're a quilter or dressmaker, project maker or whatever, or if you're just thinking, you know, I like those, but I'm not sure what I want to do, I don't know if I want to make that dress, you can actually do this, buy this bundle for half a metre of each. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you're paying for 11.5 half metres, but there's 12, so 6 metres of fabric altogether. So really lovely Moda collection with all of these lovely colours. Now all of these are all available by the half metre on the website. So do have a look. If you wanted to make, not from one of the colours that we've got here, but if you wanted to make a dress out of maybe one of these other ones, say one of these two, you can actually go for a longer length. So you buy by the half metre, just multiple numbers of what you want to buy. So that's lovely. Right, have you done those?
Yep,
See,
I've done
timing.
them. And we need to sew these seams open. It does tell you about that so that we can actually then make the hem on that curve. Now, hems on curves are a little bit tricky. So a good press, or I've seen that you can take threads, pull it, sort of loose stitch it, and then pull the threads.
Yeah, so if you're doing a curved hem,
Yep.
particularly like, because I like big circular kind of skirts, so if you do like a gathering stitch, it's like
Yes.
a 5mm long stitch, and you sew that round just inside the seam allowance again, you can kind of gently pull on that and it slightly gathers it,
Yes.
but the gather is only on the seam allowance.
Yes.
It's not going to be on the actual outside
No,
edge.
you won't be able to see it at all. So it is very important. Don't forget to open these seams out, and then we're going to attach the skirt to the bodice. Now this is the thing as well, I haven't added the facing onto the bodice yet because the facing is all together. It has the skirt and the top on it. I know on other dresses I've made, you actually do it separate and then put them together, but this one has them together. So we're going to gather this top edge here so that it will fit into our bodice. So as you can see, there's quite a lot there, isn't there? And then it's going to fit into this part here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is 2 lines of stitches, big, long stitch length all the way across. And then what we'll do is we'll tease them, because sometimes, especially with the finer fabrics, as you actually use a longer stitch, it gathers it up already. So sometimes the gather's there, sometimes we've got to tease that gather in. So I'm just going to do our gathering stitches up to start number 5. Have you ever used a gathering foot?
Yes.
Are they good?
I should say yes, shouldn't I, to self-feet. Yeah, you have to cut, it's a little trick to them. You have
Yes.
to put your finger behind the foot when you start.
Right.
So that the fabric gathers against your finger, sort of bunches up behind the foot, and then it will start gathering quite nicely. A ruffler foot
Yeah.
is also really good for
Is
it.
it?
Yeah, because a ruffler foot, which looks like an instrument of torture, it will pleat, but it will also gather. So you can select whether it gathers like every stitch, in other words,
Yeah.
gathers normally,
Yeah.
or whether you want to pleat every 6th stitch or every 12th stitch.
So what happens with a gathering foot, and if it doesn't gather up enough?
You still pull up the
Oh,
thread.
you still can
Yeah,
pull.
yeah.
That's all right.
It just helps it a bit, that's all.
Yes.
And there's another way of gathering on very long pieces as well. Either you can do it in sections, so do the fronts and the back separately, leaving long thread tails each time. Or you can actually zigzag stitch over a fine cord.
Oh, I've seen this.
And then you just pull the cord up. You don't attach the cord, you pull the cord up, attach your garment pieces together, and then you take the cord out.
Yes, I actually have seen that recently. I think it popped up on like one of my social media, like I think it was an Instagram or something, like someone had done that, and I was like, what a good idea.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it though.
A lot of these sort of techniques and tips come from costume making.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, because if you're making sort of really big, heavy Victorian costumes and things, which require lots of gathering of big materials, it's if you try and do it with just the thread as usual, the thread will keep breaking before you've gathered.
Yeah.
So it's a very quick way of doing it.
So I'm just going to grab one of my threads and just gently tease that fabric. So our side seams are going to match up. So they're almost our focal point of where we're going to get the gathers to sit. Just move them along with your hands as you go down. I would recommend finishing this top seam first so that it doesn't fray as you're gathering up. You don't want that, do you? Let me just get that seam out of there. Sorry. There we go. I'm just getting this thread out of here so that I can gather from both sides, just teasing it out. I'm not cutting it, just teasing it.
So, and it's, don't know why, but it's better to pull up the bobbin threads.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I don't really know, because if the tension is set correctly on the machine, it shouldn't make any difference.
Yeah.
But it is easier to pull up the bobbins.
There we go.
And you're pulling up both threads at the same time, aren't
yeah,
you?
both threads, so that I've got even gathers as I go across. So do spend your time here just distributing those gathers, because you want the gathers to sit nicely, evenly as it goes onto the top. So I'm just going to have a look now whether that would match. Oh, we're not far off, not far off. Let's do a few more here. So I get the middle section done first, and then I can do the side, well, the back section, sorry, first, and then I can do the front 2 panels. So we're just getting those gathers so they're even. And then pins are your friends here. You've really got to pin this to keep those gathers nice when they go through the machine, because the presser foot will try and sort of press them out and push them out. So lots of pins. Okay, yeah, we're on. So I like to have my gathers on top. That way I can control where that gather sits as it goes through the machine. So I'm just going to pin my side seams first, and then pin the gathers as they go across. And again, there is a centimetre seam allowance here. There we are. And then we'll take some of these gathering stitches out. Do you remove all your gathering stitches? I only remove the ones that I can see.
Same here.
Good.
Don't do any unnecessary work. But
No.
like you, I would have the pleated, the gathered bit on the top.
Yes.
Because that way you can make sure that the gathering, the fabric is going sort of straight down and it's not getting caught and going at skew angles. And
yeah.
things.
And also this part of the skirt isn't getting drawn up, because that's happened to me once before. So I'm just going to distribute those gathers.
Oh, the other thing you can do with a gathering foot is that you can actually gather one piece on top of the flat piece below.
Oh.
But the problem is you have to know how much extra to have. You know,
Yes,
that kind
that's
of
why I
works.
was wondering.
So it works okay on a curtain or something where you can then cut off the excess, but it doesn't work on a garment.
No.
So I'm not selling that foot very well, am I? I don't think we've got them to sell anyway, so I think we're all right there.
Now, I always like as well to have a flat piece at the end, because that is where our facing is going to go as well. So I wouldn't have my gathers all the way up. I've left a good gap of 2 centimetres, because then that gives me room to put that facing on, not onto a gathered piece of bulky fabric. It it's going on a flat piece of fabric there. So we're just pinning as we go along. There we go. And we'll sew this seam. And then that's basically the shape of the dress complete.
Yes, it is.
And then all we've got to do is put the facing on and make the cuffs.
And the buttonholes.
And the buttonholes. So...
And the pockets.
If you want
leave the pockets off.
If you want the pockets. So one thing as well, if buttonholes do scare you, maybe after making this dress, go away, have a cup of tea, leave it for a while and then come back.
And try on a spare piece.
Yeah, you really want a fresh, clear mind for those buttonholes. You don't want to be rushing them. I know I'm terrible for this, that when I'm getting close towards the end, I can feel myself getting excited and I'm like, oh, I just want it finished now, I just want it finished. And then, the buttonhole's gone wrong and I just want to cry.
Yes, yes,
So.
I absolutely agree with you. We've got a message, you said, Hannah. Jenny has said, good morning, can the sleeves be extended on the pattern piece, please?
Yeah, so let's have a look at that quickly. So the sleeves, if you want to extend it, you'd have to be very mindful of this curve here. You could try cutting it at that point where those two, I'm trying to think, sort of diagonal pieces are, and then extend it that way. I wouldn't extend it from the edge.
No, I think I would agree with you. I would cut it and then put a spare bit of tissue in.
Yes.
So that you're keeping that shaping.
Yeah.
And you're also keeping the angle.
Yeah, because that shaping is actually very, very important. So you would then have to just bring this curve around.
Yes.
But it could be extended down. But I know when I first started sewing, if I wanted to extend something, I just went down and down and down, and it wouldn't work on that. And I got caught out too many times for doing that because the whole shape of the garment's gone. So some patterns actually tell you lines of where to like lengthen or shorten.
So in short, the answer is yes, you can.
Yes.
Morning, Wendy and Adele. Love the demo. Is the dress Adele is wearing a variation of this pattern? Just love those fluted sleeves. Nice tan, Wendy. Thank you, Jojo.
No, this is one of like an old favourite actually. It's a Deer and Doe My Sotis dress. I love this one. That's why I think I've fallen in with that dress.
But that wouldn't be difficult to do, would it?
No, a fluted
really?
sleeve on that would be easy, especially with the more drapier fabrics. First time I put them on, I thought, oh, well, they look a bit like bohemian. Or...
It does. It has that bohemian look about it.
I
and
quite
it's
like it.
It's very lovely.
Yeah, and it's also got a gather on the bottom. I'm trying to lift it up. It's got a gather at the bottom as well. So, like I said before, Wendy, I love, love, love a gather. Can't be together. Right, so just make sure that those gathers do stay nice and flat and don't get folded up over themselves, because that's very easy to do.
And you also see that they're hanging vertically as well, and they don't get sort of crossed, because that can happen.
Yeah.
And then the garment won't have them sort of hanging downwards properly. It's not difficult, it's just a case of being mindful of it as you're sewing.
Yeah. And sewing isn't a race. I know.
Speeding along there.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was trying to say. It isn't a race. You don't have to finish one garment in a whole day. It can be that you pick up just the bodice and do a bodice in one sitting, put it away, come back another day, and then you can do like the skirt.
Yes.
Like I said before, I would approach this buttonholes with a completely clear and fresh mind.
I often find as well, I like to cut out on one day and sew the next.
I'm absolutely
cutting
the
out
same.
can take so long to do, you know, if you want to make sure you do it all properly.
I'm absolutely the same with you. I often cut a few projects out at the same time. So I sit on the living room floor with them all piled up. Then they go upstairs and then I've got things ready just to get on with.
Yeah.
And do you use scissors or rotary cutter?
Scissors.
Yes.
I don't have, I do have a big rotary cutting mat. I think it's an A1, but that's still not big enough for dressmaking, which means that you'd have to keep moving it. Otherwise you start slicing through your table.
Yes, and I actually like to put all my pattern pieces out first, rather than cut the skirt, then move it along, cut the top, because I don't want to run out of fabric to start with, but also pattern placement of, if you've got a pattern fabric, I kind of want to play around with it.
Yes, I'm the same. If I can, I will lay the whole lot out before I cut a single piece. I mean, very occasionally you can't do that.
No.
Sometimes you have to refold the fabric a different way for different pieces, but if possible, I lay the whole lot out. Double check as well.
Oh, yes.
Make sure it's on grain. Make sure that I like to always make sure all the pieces are from top to bottom,
Yes.
even when it doesn't say you have to. I like to make sure, because sometimes fabrics have a slight shimmer if they're held up the other way. And
yep, and later on when we look at cords, that's very important.
Very important,
that you follow one way. So the gathering stitches now can be taken out. I won't stand here and take them all out. I'm just going to take the ones out close by this edge so they don't get caught up in a moment when I put the facing on. But we've already got the bodice here now complete. Not the bodice, the main body of the dress. Okay, so we're now going to do our facing, and like I said before, the facing comes in two pieces, but the top and the bottom are all one piece. So I would interface this, especially because there's going to be buttonholes on here. If you don't interface it, especially with the lighter weight fabrics, the machine's just going to eat it up, and that buttonhole won't sit nice and flat. So
I'm sure it says that in the instructions as well, doesn't it?
It does. Like I've said before, the instructions, there's pages and pages, 11 pages, because everything is super clear.
I think this is what I like about it, and the fact it's a little booklet. You haven't got a great big sheet that you've got to try and see which bit you're on now. You can actually go through this step by step very easily.
Yeah. Now, here are the pieces.
Got 7 minutes left here, Adele.
Okay, so I'll just show this facing as it's to go on. Okay, so we're again going to just sew at the shoulders, and then it becomes one big piece. And it also tells you about finishing that that edge, the inside edge. You only have to finish one edge because the other edge is going to be encased in the seam.
So it's the outside edge you're finishing.
Yes.
This is, I think, very important to have marked which is the right and which is the wrong side to make sure you put these pieces together correctly.
And we all have different ways to finish our seams, but I do recommend finishing seams as you go along correctly so that your garment can be washed and it won't sort of fall apart or fray in the wash. That's very, very important. So we keep our dress the right side out, and then we're doing right side to right side. Now I like to get my corner of my bodice on first, because that is the point that's really going to sit, and also my shoulder seams. There are a few notches as well to match up as you go around, but this is going to be one very big long seam. So pin all the way along, and like we said before, be very careful. So it's going to be a seam. So we start up here, we come all the way down the front, and then go back to the top and do the other side, going all the way down.
Right, I was going to ask, do you start sort of like centre back or something?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
It
So
does actually say go all the way round here, but I would do as you said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you don't want one side being slightly moved out.
No.
And that is particularly important when you've got the slippier fabrics. So just be very mindful, because the machine can just, and it would only be a couple of millimetres, but it makes a big difference.
It could twist it, couldn't it?
Yes. So I'm just going to pin it so that you can see the effect, and then we'll move it in and then you'll see. Also, when we do this part here, you're going to cut into that point So again, that when you fold it in on itself, it will sit nicely and give you a nice sharp point at the front. There we go.
About a minute and a half left.
Yep. Nothing like a bit of speedy sewing, is there? So that will fit on the inside. Oh, where is it there? I'm not showing this off very well, am I, Wendy?
I think you're doing well, actually.
There we go.
So you basically you'll turn it through. Do you understitch? Does it say to understitch?
It talks about understitching, and as well, if you're not sure what understitching is, the glossary is brilliant in the front to describe that. But I would recommend this because I didn't want to have top stitching disrupting.
Yes,
the
I
line.
think particularly when you've got all those buttonholes.
Yes.
Might be a bit of a clash of stitching.
Yes.
But
so
understitching basically will hold that facing inside and stop it trying to peep out.
Yeah, so it'll be like that.
Yeah,
And
look
it
how
goes all the way
quickly you've
down.
done that. In about half an hour, you've basically put those bits together.
Yes.
But I'm like you, I don't want it when they say, 2-hour pattern, because I don't want to be pressurised into that. And I have to say that's normally the sewing time.
Yes.
So it doesn't include the cutting out or pinning or anything like that. So
Or
don't ever be
unpicking
pressurised.
time. And we all have an unpicker close
You've got
to
to have
hand.
an unpicker, yeah. There, yes. I've got a nice message from Alison here. Good morning, Wendy and Adele. I'm really loving this demo. You both look great. I didn't recognise you, Wendy, until I heard your voice. Love, Alison. Oh, thank you. I'm not sure why. Is it
because
just
you're
my
beautiful
colour?
tan?
Is it my colour? It won't last, I don't think.
Oh, I'm just always pale. I sit under the shade.
Do you?
Yeah, in fact 50, so I never tan.
I do put either 30 or 50 on. I've always been very conscious of
Yeah,
being
fair.
careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not naturally fair.
Me neither.
Anyways, up.
We're showing all our secrets this morning.
Let's recap this pattern here. So we're going to see you a bit later, Adele. Thank you ever so much for that.
Brilliant.
So what you've got an hour to finish it?
Don't you worry, I'll have a good go.
Shall I hold her to that? She's probably got to prep for the next one, haven't you? Anyway, so what we have here is we have this pattern. This is a pattern that Adele has been working with. It is the Sewgirl Betty dress. So it's a shirt dress. It's got the lovely details of the little curved hemline at the side seams, the button through front, the turn back cuffs on the sleeves. And of course, if you go onto Fiona's website, her Sewgirl website, you can go to the sewgirlblog.com and she will have some instructions on there as well, some handy hints and tips, as well as some hacks, or hacks being variations of, as I don't like the word hack personally, but I know everybody uses it nowadays. So this is the pattern 8 to 22 in size, or 32 to 46 inch bust, which is the important thing to know. We also have the fabric bundles. So if you're looking for fabric as well, we've chosen some fabrics here. We have got the one that was originally used by Adele, which is this lovely sort of burnt orange. It's a brand new Moda fabric, and you're going to get 3 metres, which actually means you're having a saving of £4.95. 3 metres is enough for all of the sizes, so that's really lovely. It's a cotton. It's difficult to see, but it's sort of medium weight cotton, so very nice. And we also do the same print, but in the blue. So this is it in the blue. So this is lovely, and it's actually a little flower. It's a little tiny flower. So very lovely. 3 metres again for £39.99. So it's called Legacy Blue Holly Berry. Okay. But it's really sweet, very pretty. And then from the same range, we have this other blue fabric. This is the one with the leaves. This is the most popular. I'm not surprised, actually. This is lovely. Leaf stem. Again, it's a bundle of 3 metres, saving you £4.95, and you get it for £39.99. So that's really lovely. Now, if you want... Oh, yes, we've got the fabric that Adele's used, which is this heavier weight, sort of linen-like. It's cotton and polyester. You get 2.5 metres because it is wider. And again, that is enough for all sizes. So that will do the larger size if you need to. But there will be some left over if you do the smaller size. So we are going to come back after the break with Neil's special. This is the manager's special. And then, of course, we're going to try and show you as much as possible on the very last of our Elna 680 Plus machines. So see you after the break.
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again. We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Hello, I'm Jane Greenoff and I'm stood in the barn here at Pink's Barn in Gloucestershire, England, which is where I live with my husband, and I stitch. I think I stitch in my sleep. I've certainly been stitching for over 30 years now, and by stitching I'm talking about counted cross stitch or counted embroidery in general terms. I also collect old samplers, and I've got one to show you here. Now, this smashing, it was actually stitched in 1796 by a little girl of 8 or 9, and it's absolutely charming. So I collect antiques, I love to draw and create antiques for the future, and look forward to seeing you all on Sewing Street sometime in the future.
Stuck for ideas for the perfect gift? Why not get them a gift card? You can buy Sewing Street and Yarn Lane gift cards loaded up with anything from £10 to £500. Shop our gift cards online at www.sewingstreet.com or www.yarnlane.com, or purchase them via our UK call centre on 0800 001 44 33. Follow Sewing Street and Yarn Lane on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with what's coming up on the show, as well as being the first to know about our amazing offers. Get involved with our competitions that are exclusive to social media. And pick up some top tips from us too.
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again.
Hi, it's me Neil and I have a surprise for you. I've been scouring the warehouse, and for the entire week starting Monday the 13th of September to Sunday the 19th of September, I'll be bringing you a manager special every day. So for 7 days I'll be here live bringing you an amazing auction with amazing savings. So make sure you tune in and don't miss out.
Is that okay, Elliot? You're not going to do anything funny with my voice, are you?
No, of course not. Of course not.
Hi, welcome back. Did you enjoy it? That's how Neil really does sound. Promise. No, it's not. So what have we got here? So not only have we got the Air 680, which I will come to in just a minute, we have got Neil, the manager's special offer. Roll the VT.
Good morning. Unfortunately, I couldn't be in the studio today because I'm really busy and I'm, working from home, honest. So today I'm bringing you the barley pops, and I'm going to pass you over to the presenter shortly to show you what offers we're doing. But first, let me tell you what we've got. We've got the two that were really popular last time. We've got the Fireside Chat one, which is this one here. So we're going to be doing that one, and we're also going to be doing the Denim and Grace, which is this one here. So I'll pass you back to the presenter now to talk you through the prices, and I'm going to just carry on working from home. Bye.
Nice work if you can get it. So what have we got? We've got these barley pops. Now these are amazing. We had these before. When I was here before and Neil was here, he had the barley pops and he'd sneakily got them in. And we did sell out. And we know that people missed out on these. So delighted that we've managed to bring some more back. This is the first one. So you get 40 pieces. This is called Denim and Grace. They're normally $39.99. But what Neil has done previously is take them to $29.99. Let me move that one out of the way and look at this. This is 40 pieces. If you missed out last time, now's your opportunity to buy these. Down to that price point of $29.99, which was his silly price point that he sneakily did without permission last time. Not that he needs to get it, he's the manager. But he did last time, and he's kept that price for us for these extras he's got. I'm allowed to open it. It's fabulous stuff. I do it very carefully because we have, of course, got limited stock of these. Now, these barley prints are basically sort of individual prints. You cannot expect or get this exactly the same on each piece, even if you get the same pack. I'm trying to do this carefully and it's not happening. I'm going to have to be a bit rougher. They are absolutely beautiful. They are batik prints. This is like Christmas, isn't it? Trying to open your parcel. God, can't get it in there. And you're getting £10 off. So look at this. These are the prints here. This is Neil's Manager's Special for today. Now, we do know loads of people missed out last time we had this because we had all these offers a few weeks ago. And this was one of them that he snuck in. Look at these different colours. And you can see these are, if I just take one off of that. Look at that print. So what it is, it's across the width of the fabric and it's 2.5 inches wide. And because of the process, the batik, you can see it's the same front and back. So it's absolutely beautiful fabrics. And every one of these is slightly different because of being hand printed. Absolutely beautiful. So this is a real bargain. One thing I have said I want to do, but I haven't yet done, is make a dress out of these. Just put the strips together randomly and then make a dress out of these. I've got a dress that's similar. Oh, look at that one. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. The saving is just for today. We really expect these to sell out yet again. They are such beautiful fabrics. And this is our sort of denim. We've called it denim and, Denim and Grace because of the colours. But see how they go. This is just one. So you might want to choose this, you might want to choose the other, but you might want to take advantage of both. Let me show you the next one. Let's put this one to one side. I can't do it roughly because it's too beautiful to treat with anything but care and attention. Let me put that to one side. Now this one is called Fireside Chat, but it's also called Spice. So don't be confused with that. And again, we are lowering that price down as we did before. So this is the proper price. Manager's special for today, as he's busy working from home. We can show you this one here. Oh, I hate the fact I have to rip into it, but I have to because I've got to get in there. This is beautiful. This would be rubbish now, Hannah. I have to take this one home because you won't be able to use it again. So look at this. Look at the colours of this fireside chat. I just love the way they're wrapped. Look at all these colours. Again, so you've got green, and all of these are hand printed, and yet again, should be £39.99. It's £29.99. If you buy both, you're saving £20. Look at these colours, aren't they gorgeous? And again, they're all, so it's the same front and back. So that's the front or the back. It's the same because of the printing process. So if you previously missed out, now is your chance to grab these. And you get 40 of these strips. Absolutely gorgeous. This is today's manager's special. We've only got one more day of specials. That's tomorrow. I love that one. Look at that. There's that one. And then that one goes with it. But the thing to do with these is don't try and pick them out and decide which one goes with which. You just do it randomly. Aren't they gorgeous? The richness of these colours. And the fact that they're all slightly different because they're individual. They've been hand printed. Absolutely fabulous colours. Oh, I love this leaf one. This reminds me of doing printing with leaves. You can do this at home. When you lay leaves onto fabrics and print the colour onto fabric. Look at those. Really gorgeous. I love this one as well. Oh, and this one. This is such a big saving. It really is. If you do think about buying, I mean, if you want to make a big quilt or something and you buy two of the same, brilliant. You're saving £20, £10 per set. Or you could buy that one and this one, the denim one and the fireside chat one, or spice, as it's also known. This is so lovely. If I go back, I'm just going to shake those back down and then start at this end. So you can see, and you can see how all these colours work together. How beautiful they are. Look at those. Even the black. So half of our stock of this one has already gone, which I'm not surprised about. It's absolutely beautiful. Let's have a look at the other one again. I'm going to leave that one open on that to make sure I keep the packs together. This is Denim and Grace. So Denim and Grace here. So this is, it was $39.99 and it's now $29.99. A fabulous price for these beautiful fabrics. It's a bargain. Get them now whilst you can. We sold out before. Loads of the managers. So we've had a manager special every day and loads of them have been selling out. I think Neil's been in that warehouse again, scouting around. He's going to be barred soon. Look at these. Oh, look at the colours. This, you know, even if they're these colours here, even this is like a dark brown, but it looks so great with all those spots. And look at the leaves on this one. Oh, I'm saying look at them and you can't see it. Look at those leaves on there. Aren't they gorgeous? And obviously, as you see, these are cut as strips, so you can see how well they'll work as small pieces. If you wanted to use these, if you use these strips, you can use them small triangular pieces. So you can really sort of take that into a small piece and it still looks wonderful. If you're looking to do something like half square triangles. So we've got less than what, Hannah, did you say? Oh, so we are going lower and lower on these. We've got less than 50 and we did start with hundreds. They are really beautiful. Worth getting, absolutely. Just as long as you leave one pack of each. All right, just saying. Aren't they lovely? I love these colours as well. Although these are greys, they wouldn't necessarily be my colours normally, but look at the depth of colour in that. You can see how beautiful that would work. Really nice and classic. I can see my sister in it. Oh, look at that one there, I love that too. A big sunflower one, look at that. And then that one's got a sort of pink in it. They're just all so different. Really do lovely, lovely mixture. So great, beautiful to use as they are, as strips. Join the strips together, make a nice stripped barley pop designer roll quilt. Just simple strips. Very simple. Or you can cut them into smaller pieces, smaller squares, put them back together again. There's a lot you can do with these. And as I say, I fancy making a dress on a dress form and then having the stripes going down. Now, we have actually got less than 20 left. We did start with hundreds of this. We've got less than 20. If you are thinking about this one, this is Denim and Grace. Remember, you are saving £10 today on Neil's Manager Special. Have a quick look at the other one. So this one is much more sort of definite in its autumnal. Should be £39.99. But it's actually crashing down to £29.99. So I got there before the sign did. Look at that. Look at those colours in that. It's beautiful. I love the fact you've got yellows in there as well, and the greens and the real autumnal colours there. Really beautiful, beautiful colours. Bit of pink at the front here. Bit of green. Aren't these gorgeous? Absolutely fabulous. I love this colourway. I think this is my favourite of the two. I love all these deep sort of purpley colours, and then you've got the pinks. It's just such a mixture. Look at that. Somebody's done this all by hand. Look at the detail in it. It's amazing. You think you're getting these fabulous hand-printed fabrics, which are the same front and back. So really useful. You can tell as you turn it over, it's exactly the same. But absolutely beautiful. So something double-sided. And you can see both sides. See, yeah, now I'm just thinking, you could put the strips together and make a kimono out of it. You could, couldn't you? But thinking quilting, they just work so well. And I think because you can already see that they're a small print, you can see how a small square would work. You still have the lovely print there. It's all in detail. Have a little triangle. That's a little triangle there. Still looks great. Love this yellow. We think they're going to sell out today, these. So if you're interested, if you've got it in your basket, please do check out. We want these to go to you if you want them. Oh, look at those greens. Oh, we're just going to show a quick video clip of this. Is this Neil working at home again? Oh, another one. Oh, just a little Manager Special clip. See you in just a sec.
Hi, it's me Neil and I have a surprise for you. I've been scouring the warehouse and for the entire week starting Monday the 13th of September to Sunday the 19th of September I'll be bringing you a Manager Special every day. So for 7 days I'll be here live bringing you an amazing auction with amazing savings. So make sure you tune in and don't miss out.
Is that okay, Elliot? You're not going to do anything funny with my voice, are you?
No, of course not. Of course not.
Oh my goodness, we have now got the 680, the Elna 680 Plus. This is a computerised sewing machine. This is priced at just £1,099. Now I know that's a lot of money, of course it's a lot of money, but for this machine that is just £1,099. We've been talking about this for some time. We have been waiting for this to come back in. We got 10 machines back in. This is the final 10 that we could get before Christmas. We managed to negotiate with Eleanor to keep the price that we had before, purely because we knew people were waiting for it. If there are any left after today, and I have to tell you there are only 5 left now, if there are any left, if there are still left after that, the price will probably go up. Like Hannah said, it will go up in price at the end of this month, so just a couple of weeks max. We have to follow the prices that Eleanor set because it's only fair that we do that. This we negotiated for this special price for this show because we had been promising to bring it back and we didn't want to disappoint people and say, oh, you can have it now, but it's more expensive. Unfortunately, that is what we'll be saying when we next get them in stock. We won't be able to do anything about it, but right now we can. Okay, enough of that. You can see what the price is. I'm telling you this is a wonderful machine. Why is it a wonderful machine? Because it can do so much. Now, can you see the screen on here? So this is, when you're talking about computerised machines, please don't be put off. Don't think I'm not computer literate, I don't like computers. It doesn't mean that at all. You don't have to do anything clever, you just have to be able to press a button. And it makes it a lot easier. So you can choose your stitch choice. Now you have a whole load of stitches up here, but let's keep it simple and just look for the moment at what we have on the screen here. So you will have some basic stitches and then you will have your decorative stitches. So you have different modes. So this will tell you which mode you're in. It tells you what stitch number you're on. So if I press mode, if I can press it from here, I'm changing the stitch because that's stitch 01 on mode 2. Can you see the little 2 there? It has got a little pointy, oh here it is, the little pointy stick, which is actually better to use. It's got this little pointy stick. So that's the mode 2. So stitch 01 on mode 2 is this wavy stitch. So you can see the stitch as well as having chosen it, you can see it. It tells you what presser foot to use. It says use your F foot, which is your satin stitch foot. It tells you what the width is, so it's 5. Now this machine goes up to 9mm width. So 9mm width is really quite wide. Mostly they go up to 7, so this is wider than that. So it means when you do decorative stitches, they look amazing. It also has your stitch length. Now this is just telling you how it's all set. I can alter that. I can press my plus button. So if I press the plus button here for the width, and it's got a little wavy, so you know it's the width. I can press that and it will go up. You can see it's going up. Now I haven't ruined anything. Don't worry if you do that and you think, oh, I didn't want to do that. It's easy to reset it. You can go off the stitch and come back on and you can reset it easily. I can also increase the stitch length or I can decrease. Very simple to do. So you can alter it. So it's not a case of just stitching out the 170 stitches that this comes with. You can alter them all. Then you can go back onto a different stitch. Let's say we're going to go on, it doesn't like 2, I have to do 0, 2, so I've done 20. So that's this stitch, it's like a little M. And then if I go back to that 0, 1, you can see I'm back there and it's reset again. So I haven't ruined anything by changing. So you can do all of that. It tells you what foot, it tells you what mode you're in, it tells you what the width is, it tells you what the length is. So all of the guesswork is taken out of it for you. So if you're using a decorative stitch on a manual machine, and some manual machines have decorative stitches, you have to set the length and the width to get the perfect stitch. The machine here does it for you, and it does it for all 170 stitches. It also has an alphabet and numbers. So that's another mode. So you can see you can actually put names and messages on things. So if you were doing something like wedding favours for a wedding, you could actually print stitch out the name of the happy couple and the date again and again and again. You can stitch it out because it has a memory as well. So having put your design in, because you can choose your wording, having done that, you can then save it to memory. You can turn the machine off, turn it back on, it's still there, so you can print out stitch out, I keep saying print, stitch out a few more. So you can do that over time as well. So to do that, you would literally go onto mode, and we just see, I'm going to need to put my glasses on to see that, and I am sort of looking at it back to front. But so that is mode 6. So if I go on to mode 6, so notice we've got this mode here. I'm just going to go to 6, and now I can now choose, looking at mode 6, I can choose my letters. So if I wanted to say so, for instance, I've got an S. So each of the letters is numbered. So I look for E is 15, and that's my E. And so you go along and you can add all your letters here, and it's very simple to do, and then you can see what you've added. So that's very, very simple. Then if I want to go onto the straight stitch mode, I can go back to mode 1, and now I can select the stitches. And again, they're all up here nice and easily on the little chart here. You can see what all the stitches, they're all numbered, and you can see which one is which I really like. This machine also comes with loads of feet. I mean, seriously, loads of feet. Now, lots of machines, they always come with feet. Machines always come with feet, but how many feet they come with can vary. And the more basic machines come with fewer feet. Now this is, you can see here this list. This is the standard accessories for this machine. Look at that long, long list. That's not 2 different languages. That is 2 columned because you get a lot in this machine. And I particularly like the fact that you get so many feet, which I'm trying to just quickly look at. You must have 16 feet, I think. So if I, let me just pop that there a second. So I'll bring this here. So you've got all of these different feet. Now a lot of them are housed in this little drop down. I can't do it from this angle. That's it. So they're all housed in this little flap here. So these are the basic feet. These are the feet that you're going to use most often. They're all nicely in here. They've got the letters on them, so you know which foot is which. So remember, it tells you on your screen which foot to use. And then you can just drop down the little holder and pop out your foot, and you're ready to roll. That's a rolled hem foot, so sorry about that, bit of a pun. So that's really unusual. To get a rolled hem foot as a basic foot is unusual. And you also get your free motion foot, but your free motion foot comes with some detachable or attachable options as well. So when you're stitching free motion on a sort of bulky fabric, you can have like the dish, which will then glide over the edges. So there's different options on that. You get the walking foot, a must-have foot, I think. This is really one of my favourite feet. Now these feet are wider than usual. So normally on a smaller machine, which has got a 7mm wide throat feed dogs, you will get narrower feet. So these are wider feet, which is why I like the fact you get so many with this machine. You get bobbins. You also get a straight stitch plate. Now that's cleverly housed. All these things can be cleverly housed. That's cleverly housed in the base here. Little place there. So straight stitch plate, which is what you do. So it's very easy to replace that one, put this one on. And the reason that you use this is when you're sewing, firstly, if you're sewing, obviously it's for straight stitch only. When you're sewing very fine fabric, sometimes quilters will always use it because you're always using a straight stitch. It makes the stitching a lot neater. And also when you're doing free motion, again, if you're only using your straight stitch, you use this and it will help make that easier. That's not all that this has got, this bit that comes off. It's also got another little compartment here at the front, which has got more feet, needles, bobbins, etc. It won't come wound, obviously. These are ones that have been used. This is a well-used machine. But I have to say, with all that, I'm really passionate about using all these different feet. But one of my absolute favourites of this is this. This little device here is the circular stitch. I'll move that out of the way. Can you see it's got a pin? This is a circular stitch attachment, which you fit into the machine. This means you can do circular stitching or stitching in the round without having to use a circular stitch attachment. It's all there for you. This is an Elna exclusive feature. This is really exclusive feature. It's got all of the basic things you'd expect to see on it. It's got the easy self-wind. It's got the easy threading. You have a foot adjuster as well, presser foot adjuster. So you can make that presser foot sort of firmer onto the fabric or lighter onto the fabric, depending on the fabric that you're sewing with. So firmer on maybe something like slippery cotton, slippery silky fabrics that you want to hold a bit more firmly. So you can do that. You can adjust all of that. It has the scissors. Now this is one of my favourite features on these better quality machines. These scissors will cut the threads, but what they do first is they take both the top thread and the bobbin thread through to the back of the work, press the button and they cut the thread. So you haven't got to take your thread ends through to the back of the work. Perfect. It also has a needle up down button, which is really good. So it's easy if you want to set it with a needle down or up, and you can set it. It also has a stitch on the spot, which is fixed stitch, lock stitch, stitch on the spot. So basically it's stitched 3 times on the spot, which locks that seam in without going backwards and forwards. So sometimes, particularly when you're quilting, and going back 1 extra stitch can be the difference between a perfectly fitting seam and not. It's really good. So I would often use fixed stitch. So that's a really good one. And of course it has the reverse button and it has a stop start, which means that you can stitch without using the foot pedal. So some people do, but I much prefer to use that. I'm a foot pedal person, but sometimes if I'm doing things like curtains or very long seams, I will unplug the machine and I will use that stop-start button instead. Now we do only have 3 left, so we really don't think we're going to be able to get any more until after Christmas. And when we do, they will be the higher price. Ouch, I think I'll put that back in a minute. Of course, talking about buttonholes earlier as well, it had an automatic buttonhole foot. Now what this means, I haven't got one here actually because it's been so well used, but basically it's like a lot of the other buttonhole feet. You put the button in the back of the foot, and then when you stitch out your buttonholes, it stitches a buttonhole to fit that button perfectly, time and time and time again. So it really does make buttonholes an absolute breeze. It also has, which is something that's a little bit more unusual, is the buttonhole stabiliser plate. Now that is used to help the fabric. So if you've got trying to put buttonholes on bulky fabric or fabric that, you know, like at the edge and things, and it goes up and down a bit and it can get caught, the fabric can get caught behind the foot, etc. That will help prevent that happening. So that's a really useful tool as well. We've got the different spindles. Of course you can do twin needle stitching on here, but it also comes with, which I forgot to bring round here, a really lovely bag. So it comes with a soft cover which sort of folds flat. But again, I really like that because it's great to have a cover to put on your machine, but you don't necessarily want one that is bulky and takes up space. And actually the hard cases can be heavy. So it has all of that there. You can close that down, of course, when you're doing simple stitching to get your sleek look. It's got a beautiful look to the machine. And it has mirror images, and it has twin needle stitching, and it has, and I could keep going on. This is probably your last chance to get this. It seriously is, because we are down to 3 machines, and that's it. And you can, of course, get it on split pay. So it's 5 split pays of £219.80 if you wanted to do that. So you get the machine after you've paid your first payment, and the machines are in the country, they are ready to go to you. So that is in itself quite unusual at the moment. Oh, and it does have a knee lifter. So for those of you who don't want to raise and lower the presser foot with the lever at the back there, you can actually do so with a knee lifter. So if you have issues with dexterity, or sometimes because you just want to have more control on your work and keep your hands on the work, you can actually use your knee lifter to lower and raise. And of course it comes, you know, there's so much more. It comes with an extension table. So you take this bit off, as I've done there, and you slip on an extension table, which is nice and big. So you can do big quilts, there it is there, look. So you can then do sort of bigger quilts and keep more of the work flat, which is really good. If you're doing the sort of circular stitching, I would put that on. In fact, I tend to leave my extension table on, and that's it. I just find it useful. The only time you may want to take it off is if you want to stitch in the round, as you've got here with the free arm. I'm going to see if I can have a little play with this whilst you have a look at some of the details. So this is the details you can see on it. You've got all of those different options and choices. Now I just mentioned just now about choosing decorative stitches. So if I go into, which one shall I go into? Let's see, there's so much choice. Okay, I'm going to go into mode 2 and I'm going to stitch number 6. So that has shown me on my screen here, it shows me the stitch and it's 9 millimeters wide. So this is a really big stitch. So I'll just put that down and put my foot on the pedal and away we go. Now it's told me what foot to put on, which I've already done. Well, actually I haven't. That's okay, it's still working fine. So you just stitch. And I'm just very gently guiding it. And I think the other thing that I like about this is not only can you do all these beautiful stitches, it's always one of my favourites. Not only can you do all these beautiful stitches, but you can also do all the different kind of stitching you might need to do. From quilting, faggoting, and of course all the dressmaking stitches. If I press my stitch on the spot button, you can see it's just stitching on the spot now, and that just finishes. Then I press my scissors and it's cut the threads and taken them to the back. So now there's no thread end on the top here at all. You look at that, and that's my stitch. So there's no thread end, the thread ends have been taken to the back. Now that stitch, I was saying that you can actually alter it. So I can now do that stitch again, but this time I'm going to lower the width, so I'm going to make it much narrower, and I'm going to lower the length to make it smaller and see what that does. So it's just a trial and error. So when you get a machine like this, one of the best things you can do is have a play and then write a note of what you've done. So do a sampler and then make a note of how you've adjusted them and what adjustments you've made. So this is that same stitch that I'm doing now. I'll just stop it there. So that's just finished the stitch, stitched on the spot, cut and out. So you can see that is the same stitch. If I just bring it out a bit, can you see that? So you can see what I've done to it. Pretty much ruined it. Not nice at all. But that doesn't matter, because having done that, it's just a different stitch. It looks completely different. But what I can do is go back to the original, no problem whatsoever. And that's what I like about this. You can have a play and an experiment. You can also mirror. So if I choose, let me choose something that has a right and a wrong way round it. So I'm going to go into mode 1. So you go through the modes, go into mode 1, and I'm going to choose number 19. So this is actually a blind hem stitch. So normally you'd use a blind hem stitch to make a blind hem, but I'm just going to use it as a decorative stitch. So I'm just using my straight foot. Oh, and of course it has got the speed, so I can lower that speed down if it's going too fast for me. So that's my stitch there, but what I can now do is I can mirror that, or maybe I could, if it beeps at you, it's probably telling you can't. It is. Okay, so I've picked a stitch you can't mirror. Let me find one that you can. Okay, I need to find one that's different one way, not the other. Mode 2. And there's so many choices here, really, it's fabulous. So we have only got 3 now, and this is the last thing until Christmas. It will have to go up in price after that, I'm afraid. If you check out today, it is ready to post, so it will be coming to you shortly. It's already in the country. There is no extra P&P. You're still paying, if you've already bought something, you're still paying that same P&P. It does come direct from Elna, and it does come with a 2-year warranty. So I've just done a great big, you can see how lovely and wide these are. Now I've mirrored that. So we've only got 2 left now. So I've mirrored that now, so I'm stitching it the other way. And that's all I've done. I've kept the same stitch, I've just pressed the mirror button, and then that's mirrored that stitch. And you can do that with many of the stitching. So you see how if I put that there again next to the machine, can you see it? I've tried to make a nice contrast. And then of course what I could do with that, so I can really create my own pattern, so I could now stitch something else down the middle here, just to make it really nice. Can you see, can you see, can you see? There it is. So we have 2 left, we have 2 left. So let's have a look at the alphabet again. I'm going to stitch something on the alphabet. Oh no, what I will do, let me try something in the round, because I just love this feature. So what I'm not doing it properly, I'm doing it, see if I can do it. I'm going to see if I can do it in a hoop. So the feet are very easy to change. You just drop one off and then you can put the other one on. So they're literally snap-on feet. So I just line it, the pin up on the foot with the groove on the foot holder, lower it down and it will click into place. If I can line it up. That's it, you can hear it click into place. And then I'm going to see whether I can use a hoop. If I can't use a hoop, I haven't tried this, I'll just do it without the hoop. But if I can use a hoop, I'm not sure if I'm going to get it under there. No, I'm not. Okay, I'll have to do it without the hoop and just do it on a piece of fabric. So again, I'm just going to put the fabric under there, roughly guess where the centre is because it's not important to worry about it. So I put the pin through the fabric, I put the pin into the little slot that's on the machine, and then I can put my fabric down. Oopsie, pressing buttons with it while I'm doing it. Right, so the fabric is now in place, and I can choose another stitch. I'm just going to choose something a little simpler, I think, to do this. We'll just do the number 7. So I'm just using my the little pointer thing to do that. And if I just press that, now it is better if you stabilise the fabric so that you make sure it goes around nicely in a circle, but you can see what it's doing because that pin's holding it there. It's actually stitching around in a circle. And you can do circles, you can do half circles. And it is better, as I say, if you stabilise the fabric. I won't go all the way around because there's not really time to. Absolutely fabulous machine, I love it. So much you can do with this. I'll just get halfway. So I'll just take the pin out, pop that to one side. You can see there how, can you see that if I put it there? You can see how I've done half circle, semicircle even. So I could keep going and do the whole circle. And then you can do more. So you can do different stitches with this. It's really, really beautiful. There are 2 holes, so you could do 2 different sizes. You can attach a circular stitch attachment if you want to do lots of sizes, but I just love the way you've got this on here. You've also got quite a nice space. So if you're into patchwork and quilting, there is quite a nice space here that you can use to put more quilts and things under, but also curtain making, coat making, anything like that, that you need a nice gap. That's a nice big gap. It's also got a nice flatbed on its own. You have the extension table that you can put on, but that in itself is quite a nice big space. You could be one of the last few to get this. How many have we got left now, Hannah? 3. We've got 3 left. So we're not counting what's in baskets because it's not yours in a basket unless you check out. So you don't have to pay the full amount. You can make split pays, so you can do 5 split pays of £219.80. 1,000, just over £1,000 for a machine of this calibre. It's Swiss design machine with all these features. The free motion's great too, because the free motion you've got, normally you have to sort of take something off and lower your free motion with a lever here. On this machine, you just do it with a lever on the side. Very simple and easy. We've done a lot of free motion. So what I'm going to see if I can do is, let me see if I can stitch out a letter. So again, I'm going back to mode 6. All these different modes with all these different stitches on here. I'm saying we've got an alphabet. We've actually got 2 alphabets. We've got mode 3 as well. Mode 4 is all of the acute letters and umlauts and things like that. Mode 5 is, I don't know what language that is, but it's another alphabet but in another one. So you've got mode 1 and 2, which are your different stitches, and then you've got alphabets as well. So actually I'm going to go for mode 3. And I'm going to see if I can say sew. So again, it's the same stitches. And I should think I say, okay. And then if I put in, so if there are any left at the end of the month, it will go up in price. And if we do sell out, we won't get any back until after Christmas. So if you're thinking of a Christmas present, now's the time to do it. It really is. Oh, there's only 2 remaining. Okay, so I'm just going to stitch out an S just for speed here. Let me put an S. Now you have to remember that the lettering will come this way. So actually if I want it to be vertical, so always practice this sort of thing. And again, I'm just popping it on and starting it. And this is where I can, if I unplug the foot pedal, I'm saying, not the actual machine, I can use, oh, I've unplugged the machine, not the foot pedal. If you unplug the foot pedal, not the machine, I now need to go back and reset that because it's reset itself to 0. So yes, I have to. It is a good feature that. So I've just put my S back in again, and now I can press start and stitch it. Right, so I can now cut that. So that's my little S. Can you see I've got a little S there? And then it's locked that stitch so I can cut it. So of course you can do words. As I say, you can put words in there. You can also opt. You can press a button so that you lock stitch and cut the threads at the end of every seam. There's so much you can do with this. You can put a twin needle button. If I press the twin needle button, I can stitch twin needle patterns. I can choose my patterns, and if it doesn't like my choice because they're too wide for 2 needles, it won't let me stitch them. So it makes that choice, again, easier. Basically, it just makes choices easier. So please don't be put off if you're not computer literate. I promise that's me. Computer sense of a baked bean. But this sort of machine is absolutely fabulous. I love all the choice of stitches. I love the way things are so easy. You can even sew buttons on. It's like a button sewing foot. Now, if you want to sew buttons, for instance, if you're making that Betty dress and you have got 10, 12 buttons on there, laboriously hand sewing them on, you can do it by machine very, very quickly and easily using your button sewing foot. It's so quick. Oh, we've got some reviews from people, so it's not just me saying this is fabulous. Let's see what we have got. These are people who bought the machine from us. It does everything I hoped for. I'm delighted with this machine. So that's Elaine in Yorkshire. I think you're right, Elaine. It's a fabulous machine. And we have another one, did you say? Pauline has said, wow, it's an awesome machine. I love it, and all the features are so much quieter and sturdier than my other machine. It's true, it's 10 kilograms in weight, so it's not lightweight. It is 10 kilograms in weight. It's a nice, sturdy workhorse, sits solidly. And as Pauline just said, it's quiet. So if you sew, it just stitches quietly, which I think is really important. Oh, Colette has said something too. I'm just going to, what's Colette said? Scared to use it first, but fantastic machine and easy to use. It is. Don't be scared. Don't be put off by it. I talked about a blind hem earlier, didn't I? Let me just have a look. Now, there are only 2 remaining now. Oh, have I got a blind hem foot in here? So if I do the blind hem, so if I choose, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my blind hem, which is number 18 on mode 1. And it's telling me to put my G foot on. So I find my G foot. Now, nice and easy, the foot has a G on it. So the machine's told me to put my G on, the foot has a G on it. I can therefore do that safely without worrying about it. Pop that one away. Pop my foot on. And now the trick about doing a blind hem is actually making sure you fold the fabric correctly. So let me get another little piece of fabric here. So it's not best shown on a plain fabric, but basically you fold your hem allowance up to the wrong side, and then holding that in place, you fold it back on itself. So you've got a little bit of a lip, a single layer of fabric hanging over the edge. Can you see that? You see that little bit of fabric hanging over the edge there? Can you see? So I folded the hem up and then holding that hem folded up back on itself. So there's a little lip of about 1/4 inch showing out the back. And then I place it under the foot so that the fold of the fabric is up against the foot. I'm going to have to press the stop start button because I've lost the lead. And the idea is that the straight stitch is in the single layer, and then it has a little zigzag popping over into the fold, and that is going to create that blind hem. Now if I were using thread to match the fabric, of course the idea, it's called blind hem or invisible hem because you won't be able to see it. If, oh, I forgot I was using that. If you find it's not catching, it's just, I don't know if you can see that, but it's just caught that fabric there. Little nip into that fold. So that when I fold that back out again, what you'll get is a little ladder stitch, as you can see along there. If you use thread to match your fabric, you won't see that little stitch, of course, but I've used a blue just as a contrast. So that's the blind hem, so quick and easy to do. If that nip's a bit too much or not enough, you use your stitch width button to adjust that zigzag that goes across. So it has that little zigzag that goes across into the fold of fabric. That's how easy it is to do a blind hem. What about a rolled hem? Let's look at a rolled hem. So a rolled hem is one of those ones that people find more difficult to do. It's just a straight stitch, so we're not worrying about that. So I'm just going to go to 0, 1. And I just used the rolled hem foot for this. Got another message across my bottom, did you say? It says, I love my machine. I can do so much more than I ever expected. It may be expensive, but it's worth every penny. Thank you, Leslie. I do agree. It's not expensive for a machine of this calibre. I can promise you it's a very good price, but it is a lot of money. I appreciate that. Oh, we only have one remaining now. One machine remaining, so this is your chance. So a rolled hem, fabulous feature on this. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just fold up a tiny amount here, about 1/8 inch, and then again. Now I'm just doing that at the start, just finger press that in place. So the rest of the hem I haven't done it. I'm going to put that under the foot, that bit that I've done. This is the way I find is easiest to do a rolled hem. Put it under the foot there, and then you want to make sure that the needle is going to drop down close to that folded edge. And there's just, oh, I'm gonna plug myself back in. I find it easier to use the foot pedal myself. So I'm just going to do just a little bit of that. I'm just going to help it along a bit. No, hold on. I started too close to the end. You're better off starting about a centimetre in from the end. So I'll just do that again. So make sure it will feed through. So I'm just going to do about an inch. Doesn't want to. Oh, did I lower the feed dogs and forget to raise them again? Hold on. As my friend would say, hold on, caller. Are they coming up? Yes, they are coming up. Right. So you just do that little bit at the start. I'm just going to make sure it's under there properly. There, down. That's better. Once it's done, about an inch, I can then leave the needle down, raise the presser foot, and then pull the fabric edge into the coil of the foot. So it's got a little coil on the front of this rolled hem foot. So again, now this is one, it won't tell you what foot to use for a straight stitch because obviously straight stitch is straight stitch. But if you look in the manual, it will tell you how to do this. And you're just feeding the fabric with your left hand, and I like to raise the fabric at the front with my right hand. I find that easier to make sure it feeds through, making sure it keeps going straight. And you get a beautiful rolled hem. So there I have a beautifully stitched, can you see that? Beautifully stitched rolled hem. Tiny little stitches on the edge. Absolutely fabulous. I've used a different colour in the bottom, by the way. That's just so you can show detail. We've got one last machine to go. This foot again comes with the machine, which is quite unusual. Elizabeth says, got my 680 earlier this week and I love her. Oh, she's named her Bertha. I'm in my 60s, arthritic and a technophobe, but it's a pleasure to use. It's so easy. Thank you, Elizabeth. Nothing wrong with being a technophobe. So this is from Penelope. Morning, my machine arrived this morning, wasn't due until tomorrow, so excited, only got it out of the box. My plans for the day have changed. Yes, spend some time playing, absolutely. Now, we're just going to round up on this machine. We have one left, we have more in the baskets, so if you want it, please get it. Well, this is the last, we can't get any more before Christmas. The next time you see it back here at Sewing Street, it will be more expensive. It will. It's not an idle threat. We have been told we're not allowed to sell it at this price anymore. So I'm afraid, yes, you do have to bear that in mind. It's £1,099. I appreciate that's not cheap, but for this quality machine, it's a very good price. It will last. You will grow with you. If you think to yourself, oh, I'll never use all those stitches, you'll use a lot more than you think. Once you get into the habit of using these stitches, you'll find it's a great way to add decorative detail to lots and lots of your projects. I've made things like tablet covers, cushion covers and things like that. I've used decorative stitches on garments where you could have them, if you've got a princess seam, you can do a pretty decorative stitch down either side of it. Round hems, when you're taking a child's hem down because they've grown, there's usually a mark. Put a decorative stitch around there instead, cover that up, add a trim. So there's all sorts of things that you can do, and this machine will make it easy. If you have, oh, there are too many people with them in baskets. If you want it, please check out. There is just the one, and it is the last time we will have it before Christmas. Oh, and early bird. Right, so that's the machine. I'm just going to pop that in so we don't lose it. But let me just recap our early bird. We're going to recap this because, again, this is, I've just mentioned trims, and this is something that is fabulous. So when you're attaching trims, you want to make sure they're in a straight line. You want to make sure they finish up where you want them to be. Use a fabric glue pen. This was our early bird this morning. This is our pen, which is a glue pen, normally £12.98. Today we have dropped the price, crash that price. Here it goes down. So this pen is now £9.98 with the additional sticks of glue in different colours. Doesn't really matter what colour you've got. It's nice to use a colour that you can see because that's the point of it. but it does dry clear. It is also water soluble, so it will wash out. It is only temporary, but it's really good if you're going to do the English paper piecing or foundation piecing, because it's really useful to use those little hexagons, and you can just glue the fabrics in place. I personally use it for gluing trims, ribbons, etc. in a straight line. I will use it for the zips. If you're doing an exposed teeth zip, you do need to anchor that zip in place, and using a glue pen is a perfect way of doing it. So definitely a good little tool to have in your box. At £9.98 you're going to get all these refills as well. So there's 6 refills and the pen, and in fact the pen does come with a refill as well. This will keep you going for many a day. I wouldn't like to say years and years and years, but it probably will. So it's a really good buy. So do think about getting this. This is one that I use a lot more than I ever thought I would. It does make life a lot easier. You can use applique, so you can just glue the back of your applique and put it on. You don't need to have the bonder web or the double-sided webbing. You could temporarily hold up hems with it. There's just so much. If you're pleating fabric and you normally stitch across the top, you could just glue them down and hold them in place until you're ready to stitch. So there's lots of good uses for these pens. So that was our early bird offer. But as well as that, we've had our manager's special offer. So this is wonderful. We had these once before when Neil sneakily bought them on the show. And he's managed to get a few back. I don't know how he manages to do it, but he's managed to get a few back. But they should be $39.99. But our manager's special today from Neil, who's working from home, is $29.99. $29.99. You get 40 of these 2.5-inch square pieces. We really only we had hundreds of these. We are now down to 25. Down to 25. So this is an opportunity. The price will go back up. This manager's special is only for today. And then it will go back up again if there are any stocks lasting. And look at all these beautiful colours. So you've got 40 beautiful strips, all coordinate with each other, all look lovely. These are barley pops, so they are batik prints, which means they're hand printed, and they are the same front and back. So if you see the piece here, front and back is exactly the same. So it's really beautiful. Double-sided, I love that, because so often prints are only on one side. So these are really gorgeous. And the whole range of colours. So this is the Denim and Grace pack. Look at these colours. And then we have Spice, which again is lots of gorgeous colours. I think it's my preferred choice. Should be $39.99, but today's manager's special is $29.99. He does love his barley pops, and he likes to drop the price of them too. Look at these beautiful colours. Really lovely. Look at all these. Oh, look at the leaves on these, the colour. They're just magical. And you can do so much with these. You can very simply sew these strips together lengthwise and create a stunning quilt, bag, cushion, whatever. Or you can cut them into smaller pieces and repatch them together again. It's just, there's so many options, and they all go together. They're all beautiful. These have been colour coded, but you can mix these all up. You don't have to have them. You can put the green. I don't want to unwrap them, but you can put the greens with those. You can mix them all up. It doesn't matter how you put them together. All absolutely gorgeous. Hand printed, cotton. 40 pieces in each one. I'm just looking at like there's almost one of each, I think. I'm not sure whether it's 2 of each or 1 of each. Really lovely collection. I can unfold one strip. Just show you one long strip. I'm just trying to make sure I keep them all nice and neat. Look at this one. So that's your strip. So it's across the width of fabric. So you have selvage each end, and it's 2.5 inches wide. Beautiful, isn't it? And it's the same both sides. That in itself, just fold that over and you've got ready-made bindings. It's not bias, remember though, but for straight edges, that would be lovely. If I move that out of the way, just see how it looks when it's a small piece. It doesn't matter. It still looks fabulous. So really beautiful fabrics. And at £29.99, you're saving £10 on the normal price. £10. Buy multiples of this and you're saving 20, 30, 40. But I think if you're not sure which one to go for both. You will use them. You definitely will use them. Now we are going to go to the break now, and when I come back I will be joined by the lovely Adelle, and she is going to make this beautiful pinafore dress, which is, you can't actually see the pockets beautifully on this, but they're absolutely fabulous, these pockets. They're big sort of pockets at the front here. I love it. I love that design. I think that's going to be fabulous for winter, especially when you make it in corduroy, which we've got here for you today. So we'll see you in just a few minutes.
Hello, I'm Adelle Rowland. You may have seen me on shows already. My passion is in dressmaking. I've been sewing now for about 4 years, completely self-taught. I've actually learnt a lot from the mistakes that I've made. In my normal day job, I'm actually a secondary school science teacher, and one of the things that dressmaking has brought is the conversation starter with my students about the dresses, the tops, everything that I've made. I have 2 young daughters and a wonderful husband as well. One secret or surprising fact about me is that I actually have a silver world medal for Irish dancing. My dressmaking top tip is always remember your notches. Don't skip that part with dressmaking because those notches are very important to line up all of your seams. I can't wait to bring more dressmaking projects to you and get more people sewing.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out. Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again.
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
Stuck for ideas for the perfect gift? Why not get them a gift card? You can buy Sewing Street and Yarn Lane gift cards loaded up with anything from £10 to £500. Shop our gift cards online at www.sewingstreet.com or www.yarnlane.com, or purchase them via our UK call centre on 0800 001 44 33.
If you you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hi, welcome back. So here I am joined by Adelle again. Now, I've got to tell you, by the way, the sewing machines have gone. It has sold out. So you have to wait now for that particular model until after Christmas. Been very busy. But what we do have, excuse me, I'm going to cough. Apologise for that, just had a quick cough. So we have now got this lovely So Different pattern, so different brand. Again, a very lovely simple design. Now we've got the pattern here, it comes in sizes 8 to 26 this time. But I do want to tell you what that means in real money, because we need to actually look at the sizing. So the sizing guide is a size 8 is a bust, so let's do it in inches. Size 8 is a bust 33. And a 26 is a bust 50 1/4. So that's a different bust sizes. So you can see the other pattern earlier on, a size 8 was a 32-inch bust. This is a 33. So it is really important that you choose your size by the measurements. So measure yourself and then choose it by that. But yet again, what you have on the back of this pattern envelope is all this lovely information. It tells you about the dress design, what it looks like. It gives you an illustration. It's got a difficulty level as well. So this is about average. 1.5 seam allowance. Ignore the time. That's just an indication of what it could take you. It's not what you've got to do it by. It also has all of the fabrics that you need. You've got the bodice that has lining and to how to show with the contrast side panels, etc. what kind of fabrics you need. It's very, very clear on the back of the pattern envelope. Can I open this one? Oh, I'm allowed to open it. So if I go inside, I'm just going to, can I peel that off? I don't like ruining it. I'm going to have to cut it open. So if I go inside, yet again, what you can get inside here, so this is £16.99 for this pattern, and that's what you make. But you have got a nice instruction sheet, which gives you the instructions. So it's nice and simple here. So you've got your layout, so you can see how you lay out your pattern. And then you've got your instructions here on your different techniques. Oh, they're actually sewing instructions. Am I missing? Or have I left them in the envelope?
Oh, this was the pattern from when I did that one, so
Oh,
I don't
right,
know whether
okay.
they've updated it, and I've got a little booklet.
Oh, okay. It might be that it's tucked in here somewhere and I just can't find it yet. But what I do like about this is look at these pattern lines on here. So each of the sizes is a different colour. So that makes it very, very easy to see which size to cut. So you've done your measurements and you've determined what size you are, and then you can just follow the colour line. And of course, as I said earlier, if you're a different size bust to waist to hip or whatever, you can just blend your lines together. But this makes it cutting out a lot easier. And again, the pattern is only printed on the one side, so you can just cut the pattern out. You haven't got to trace off. So I think that's really useful, unless you wanted to, because you want to make different sizes, etc., as Adelle was saying earlier. So that is the pattern in there with your instruction sheet and clear details on it. Now, as well as all of this, which I'll put away again in a minute, we have some fabric bundles. Now, what we've got here are corduroys. Now, this is brand new. It's 4.5 well, so that's the sort of thickness of the actual cords. We've got 2.5 metres. 2.5 metres will make all sizes, so make the large size as well. It's a really lovely fabric. Now you do have to, we were talking earlier about when you're laying your pattern out, you do have to make sure that you lay your pattern all in the same direction. So in other words, from top to bottom. Because if you don't, you'll find when you brush your cord one way, you can see it goes darker. If you brush it the other, it goes lighter. So it is important that you get that running the right way. Apologies about the creases in this. This has been folded a lot, but you can steam that out. So it's a lovely fabric. I love this one. Is that the one you've got?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
It's a beautiful colour, isn't it?
It is absolutely lovely. And I think it works well if you've got contrast for the pockets, as Adelle has done there. Unfortunately, the contrast fabric that we had to sell for you has sold out, pre-order. But there are other fabrics, and of course some of the other ones we've seen today earlier would do that perfectly anyway.
Yeah, well, like you can use just something you might have left over from a previous.
Yes, it's not use a huge amount, do you?
No.
So that's really good. And then we also have the cream. This is 8 well. Okay, 8 well. So these are slightly narrower. And again, but you have the same thing, it's corduroy, so it's quite a thick fabric, so it's really good for Pinafore for winter, isn't it?
Yes,
Wear a jumper or a long sleeve t-shirt under this.
Yeah.
I think it's lovely. This is $18.99 and you get 2.5 metres. This is a lovely one. Even if you're not going to make this dress, this is actually quite a good piece of fabric to have, isn't it? In your particularly that aqua blue, I love that. And I can just see this dress with long boots.
Oh, yes.
Not that I want to wish winter upon us, but yes.
I know I'm all for summer dresses, but I do love cosy clothes as well.
Yes, and this is definitely a cosy dress, isn't it? So I think this is lovely for this. And then we have it, excuse the fact it's fluffy, we have it in brown. If you've got a lint remover, you can get rid of all that fluff. So if I open this up a bit, you can see it. Now this one is it's a different weight of well. I'm just going to pop that on the floor over here so it doesn't slide off the table. This is also an 8. But it's really lovely. So if I brush it that way, it's nice and smooth. If I brush it towards me, it gets darker. And I don't know if you can see that with all the lights, but it does. So it's important that when you cut out, you cut all the pieces in the same direction. And obviously, personally, I would have it so that the smooth goes down.
Yes.
So if you stroke your dress downwards, it feels lovely rather than rough. So it's really nice. So that's what we have. So $18.99, 2.5 metres, and this is this lovely chocolate brown. We also have 2 denims. Now these are by the ½ metre. So those were 2.5 metre bundles. These are by the ½ metre. But you could make the pinafore in it, or you could make the pockets in it, or you could just use it for something else entirely. The darker one is the dark, and again this is a sort of a lighter weight denim. Very nice. That is nice actually. It's definitely dress, isn't it? Dress weight.
Yeah.
So that would be lovely in that pin. Well, that's what
that
you've
one
used,
is,
isn't it? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so it's lovely. And I just love the way. So this is ½ metre, but when I say ½ metre this time, it's wide. It's a wide ½ metre. I can only just reach. So that must be at least 5'6".
Oh, I'm about to say, don't ask me about feet and inches.
Because isn't it the width of your arm? Well, not quite 5'6" because my fingers go beyond that. Your hand span is your length, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm 172 centimetres.
I don't know what that is in proper money. So so it's a nice wide width. So although it's ½ metre, it's quite a big ½ metre because of that. So that's a ½ metre of that one. So that is $4.99 in the dark blue. And then we also have it in the light blue, which is the one that Adelle has used for one of her samples. So again, super wide. Oh, it smells of denim.
Yeah, it does,
It's
doesn't
lovely
it?
smell, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's really good. $4.99 for all of that.
Yeah. And
So
the
even if
pocket on that was a bit of liberty.
Oh, was it?
Actually, yeah. So you could really splash out.
Yes, you
with some
could,
fancy
because it's only a
fabric.
little bit, isn't it? What do you need for that little bit? Do you remember?
So I'm just looking at the layouts, trying to think where the layout is on here. It's on the back of my one. So it's really not very big. The lining, so you could also use this for the lining. It talks about 1.5 meters, but if it's very wide, it's only 1 metre. So if you've got that special metre of fabric.
Yes. Or
your
you could use
stash.
something else for the lining and just have a really fancy pocket, couldn't you?
Yes, well, that's what that one is. It's a plain blue lining and then really nice fancy pockets.
Is it? I'm going to... Oh,
Having a peek.
having a peek in there. Ah, yes. Okay, I like that. So I've seen inside, you can't. So there's lots of lovely choices there. So now we've got the pattern, we've got the fabrics. Over to you, Adelle.
Yeah. So like you say, it is a 3 out of 5 star pattern in terms of experience, but there are no fastenings on it. So that challenge only is because of this pocket. It is a bit of an unusual construction of a pocket, but I made that one last summer, and when I picked it up this time, it felt like it just all came back to me because Laura, who is the owner of So Different, has an amazing blog that tells you step by step how to put this pocket in, because it is a bit of seam and curve manipulation. So I'm going to concentrate on that pocket, but as you can see, the pocket is huge.
It is, isn't it?
Absolutely huge, and I love a good pocket.
I just love the idea of doing contrast like you have.
Yes, because I know since not taking my purse now, I've got everything on my phone. So all I need if I'm on a school run is my phone and my keys. I don't want to take a big bag because I'm going to have to carry the girls' bag home, I know. So I just stick things in my pocket now and just off I strut. So I've done contrast, but you could, with that bundle size, get everything out of it. So it doesn't...
Okay, so you don't have to do a contrast.
No, you
so if
don't
you're a little
have
bit
to.
nervous about getting the fold perfect, if it wasn't contrasted, you wouldn't have to worry.
No,
Although
you
actually,
wouldn't.
I don't mind it poking out a bit because I think it makes it look like a piping trim.
Yeah, I've done it on a few other things, especially with denim, to have something, or like a very nice plain fabric like this, to have something almost as a surprise.
Yeah.
I love it. Like I've got a denim dress and I've done the facing in leopard print. So it's like, ooh, and you can't see it, but I know it's there,
Yes.
but you can kind of see it. Oh, I just love it. So there are no fastenings. We're going to attach it at the top shoulders later on once that's towards the end, but we're going to talk about this pocket. So the pocket does look very, very unusual. These are the 2 pattern pieces. So this one is going to become the side panel, and then this is the pocket bag, and then that's the bag that fits on top of there. And what's very, very important here is there are notches that we've got to follow. And also there's a circle here, and that's really important because you sew up to this point in a moment, and then that seam there has to open up in order to get the next seam in. So it's very, very important you do follow all these notches. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to fold over this side panel, because this side panel here at the top you will be able to see. So it talks about finishing this edge, and then we fold it over and do some top stitching. Just for the ease of the show, I'm not going to finish my edges, just so that we can get more sewing done, because finishing the edges does take a little bit more time. So I'm folding it over. Now, as we were saying before, always check the seam allowance. Earlier it was 1 centimetre, this one is 1.5 centimetres. So do check, because it will make a whole bit of difference. So the first thing I'm going to do is just top stitch that pocket side seam down.
And just to explain, top stitch, basically your stitching is going to show.
Yes.
It shows on the top. That's all it is. It's the same stitch length, etc. Sometimes with top stitching, I do increase the stitch length.
Yeah, to 3.
Yes.
Especially then, if it's a contrast one, then it can look really nice, especially on denim.
It does, definitely.
Yeah, like a yellow or even a silver or dark grey would look gorgeous on denim. So we've done our part there, then we're going to add our pocket onto this. Now it doesn't match up at the top, and that's where it feels like it's very confusing. There are notches that you need to match up. As you see, as I put that on, we've got the extra seam allowance up here, and this part here doesn't finish where this side panel moves out. So it's very important that we have our notches matched first before we sew. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sew all the way down there, up, and then to this circle point here. Okay.
So have you marked that on your fabric?
Yep, so just use a little pen and then you've got it to remind you where to stop. And that's really, really important part. I know when I made my very first sample, the red one behind you, I'm not going to say it was hunky-dory. One of the pockets did have to go in and come back out. But please don't ever feel disheartened if you have to get your seam ripper out. It's not the end. You can just...
Seam ripper is honestly a sewist's best friend, it really is. And they do blunt and you do need to replace them.
Yes.
But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, please don't ever feel really disheartened and frustrated if you've got your seam ripper out. But also, buy a good seam ripper.
Yes.
Don't use the ones... Well, you can use the ones
The
that come
ones
in
that come in the machine are absolutely fine, but they do blunt.
Yeah, and they're
so then you
really
need to get a new one. Oh, I
They don't
like
feel
small.
Nice. Oh no, I like
You like
one
a
with
bigger
a
one,
good
do you?
handle. Just so that I feel, especially when I've got to undo a big seam, that I am
I never
able
have to do that.
Oh.
There is a quick way of unpicking seams, actually.
Yes.
So what you do, if you slip the sort of blade of the seam ripper through every 3 or 4 stitches.
Right.
So every half an inch sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then you can pull the thread from the other side and it just pulls away.
Oh.
So yeah, I do know how to undo long seams.
Oh. Right. Just going to do around this curve. Now there is a nice big curve. If you're not used to sewing on curves, just take it slowly. But I sort of pull the fabric as I'm going round and it does that curve. There we go. Just find where my there it is, it's there. Okay. And then it does talk about finishing this seam as well, because that is going to be on the inside, so there is going to be a lot of wear on those edges.
If you actually use your pockets.
Yes.
Yes.
So just be aware that take your time to finish those seams. Now what we're going to do is attach this curve, okay, to the front of our dress, okay. So let me put this out so that we can see the other side whilst we do this side. So the first attachment we do is this part here, and that is this one here, okay? And again, notches are so important here because the edges don't line up. So people get very confused because they think that the pocket should go all the way to the edge, but it doesn't. You're going to go to the point where we had that circle, so there is going to be a gap, and that's the reason for that, because in a moment you're going to attach the back and then carry on and attach that pockets. So don't be alarmed thinking, oh, I've cut my pocket out too small, it doesn't seem to want to fit.
I think this is a case of, as I would normally suggest to itches, to read through the instructions all the way through before you start, because it then makes more sense to you, doesn't it? You have an idea of where you're going.
Yeah, absolutely. I often get my instructions out and sit in bed and read them the night before.
Do you?
Yeah. Especially if it's
You're a lucky husband.
Oh, well, especially if it's a new type of garment. Like, I haven't made many blazers, I've only made a couple of coats. So if I'm going to tackle something like that, I would really sit down and look through it first.
I mean, I do every pattern anyway, and I just think, because sometimes the technique will be slightly different to what you're used to doing.
Yes.
Sometimes you can find things, well, actually, if I, do steps 1, 2, 3, and then I'll do steps 7, 8, 9, because it's a different part of the garment, you can do that too once you're more experienced. Otherwise, go through step 1 through.
Yeah, and
it's like a recipe, isn't it? You wouldn't just stand in the kitchen with your ingredients and get going without having any idea of what you're actually going to do.
No, and I think one mistake that catches people out on this one is the back seam is done last, because we often think of get your front, get your back, shoulders, side, then move on, whereas it's a little bit different because the back seam actually comes together quite later on. So I've got my pockets now attached to the front, and I'm going to give that a press because I want that to sit nicely and ensure that I've got the correct amount for the next side to go up. So I'm just going to press this, and you can top stitch or under stitch this at this point if you want it to be a really crisp edge, but like you said, it'd be quite nice even if it does roll out a little with a contrast. So another thing as well, you have to be very careful ironing corduroy, don't you?
Yes, I would probably cover it with a press cloth, because what you don't want to do is completely flatten all those wells.
No.
That's one of my most difficult words to say, by the way. My boys laugh at me when I say go down a well or go to wells. They say it sounds the same, or a big sea creature called a well. I think they sound different, but they tell me they all sound the same.
Yeah, I've got the iron on a lower setting than I would normally use, and I'm not pressing down much. It's a real light touch. I don't want to destroy the shape of that corduroy, but I love corduroy. I've got some like dark purple corduroy trousers.
Oh, have you?
Really, really nice. And a pinafore as well. Just cozy. To me, it feels just like autumn and winter when you've got fabrics like this, doesn't it?
It definitely does, yes.
So we're going to now attach this back seam. So I've only done really half of that pocket, and I'm leaving the pocket for a little bit and coming back to it after I've put my back piece on. So let me get there.
As you say, it's quite different, isn't it?
Yeah, and we say something at school about the curse of knowledge, that if you've done something so many times, you almost get blindsided when something's different. So
I agree. That's why I say read it through, because as you say, if you do it without reading the instructions, you probably would automatically do that bit, and then have problems putting the pocket in.
Yeah, and then that would be really frustrating. So as you can see, I'm getting my pocket out of the way. I don't want to catch this pocket in this side seam, so I'm pushing that part out of the way just whilst I pin this side seam here. And it's 1.5 centimetres, and magically these seams at this point do match up, but I know in the past people have struggled with this pocket, so you can watch back this, but like I say, on the blog it's very, very helpful, on the So Different blog, about this pocket. There we go. Okay, so we've now got the front, the back, and I keep stroking.
I know. You can't help, can you?
No. Oh. Okay, what we're now going to do is attach this curve of the side panel to the back piece. Okay, so the way that it's going to be a little bit tricky because you're pinning on a curve, and I don't know how you feel, Wendy. Sometimes when you're pinning on a curve, you have to take it slowly and ease it in very gently. And this is
take care you don't stretch it.
Yes, because it's like earlier when we were talking about the bias. Again, there is a notch. I will start at the notch, pin the notch, and then work the fabric in elsewhere. So I've got my notch done. Pin that part there. And then this is where I'm talking about. If you see, that's going up, but my pocket side's coming down. So we're just going to take it slowly. And also, I often pin while sitting at my machine. I don't often pin when I'm up at the ironing board, because I like to have it up and round rather than flat. Because that's the thing about dressmaking, isn't it? You're taking a flat piece of fabric and making a 3D shape. So try not to try and pin it whilst it's flat, because it's not going to work. Hold it up, feel comfortable, and pin as we go along. There we go. Have you ever used clips?
I have. I actually I'm having sort of worked here, I got myself some clips, because no, I hadn't previously. I I've used bulldog clips, but these proper quilters clips are much better, much easier to use actually.
Yeah, and they might be good on
Yes,
this point to hold that in, because at the moment I'm only holding it and anchoring it at these points, but if you had the bulldog clips it would go along. Right, so I'm going to start at that circle point. So it's this circle point here that I'm going to begin my stitching on, okay? And then again, as you can see, one piece of fabric wants to go one way, one piece of fabric wants to go another way. Just hold it as it's going through the machine and don't skip your pins on this point.
And which do you find it easier to have, the pocket uppermost or the...
Yes, I find it easier, just so then I can see where that point is that I've already sewn to, and it's the lighter of the fabric, so I feel that I can hold it better. Whereas if it was the other side, I'd be worried that it would get skipped under or it will get pulled under. So there we go. And it's 1.5 centimetres everywhere on this pattern. Just make sure I don't catch the rest of it underneath. There we go. And again, we're sewing on a curve, so...
Yeah, stop and start, I think. It's really handy if your machine, if you can set it to stop the needle down, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Now, my machine does it automatically, and when I go on other machines that don't do it, it throws me off.
It does.
I love it, the fact that it's almost like another anchor, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It makes it easier for you to, as you're doing there, manipulating the fabric to go around that corner.
There we go.
And the trick is, as you're doing it, is to, slowly, slowly, isn't it?
Yes. And move that out of the way. Keep fingers crossed.
Whoops, you stitched the front to the back and the side and the panel.
And there it is. The pocket is done. Okay.
I just love that design. I think it's gorgeous.
It's really clever.
Fabulous idea. Yeah, definitely.
So I'm just going to press that just to make sure that it stays nice and flat before I move on to the next one.
Now, will you trim into the curve or anything?
Yes, if I was doing this and finishing my seams, absolutely, because it helps the fabric spread and move in. At the moment, because you would have already finished those seams as well. So I wouldn't try and do that whole pocket and then put that through an overlocker, because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're going to end up catching a bit of fabric underneath
yeah,
it.
and have a big hole in it.
You have some unusual patches.
Yes, and that's the thing about an overlocker blade, isn't it? It catches it at a point where it's not in the seam. So, right, the next point that we're going to do, okay, is we are going to just double check that it's at the front to the back. Right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our lining on, okay? So our lining.
Oh yes, you've got this lined, haven't you?
Yep, and I've done the lining in the contrast fabric as well. Yep, line the pocket up, just check in. See, I'm still checking now.
It is always good to check. So I'm just reading some of these instructions on here.
Yes.
And it's got lengthening and shortening lines, it says. That's useful.
Yes.
Also, it's got that bottom seam, hasn't it? Because it's got a nice shape to it. It's not just straight, is it?
No.
You could do that in contrast, couldn't you?
Yes. So it's like a tulip style skirt. I mean, if I show you that piece, hopefully we'll get onto that. There is a real dramatic curve on that piece there.
Oh, just slow it down a bit. Yep. That's it. Yeah.
So you can see there's a real dramatic curve. I say dramatic, but when we've already got a flat skirt, it does. Now, I saw on So Different's Instagram the other day, somebody left that off and actually did just extend that. Now, that gave a completely different silhouette to the dress. It didn't scoop round as tulip, it more went as an A-line. And I think it looked lovely.
Yes.
So you don't have to.
You could leave it off.
Yes.
As a tunic. So you don't, to make it shorter sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you wanted.
Yeah.
So again, all these hacks.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy using patterns many times. Like this dress, I've got a couple of them and I'm already thinking about making another. Because no one has ever actually said to me, oh, you've got that dress but in a different fabric.
No, same here. I wore the same dress, different fabrics, 2 days running at Festival of Quilts, and nobody noticed it was the same dress.
No. So
And you're right, because if you do it in a completely different fabric, it looks different.
yeah.
And it makes sense, doesn't it? Well, particularly for me, because I have to do quite a lot of pattern alterations.
Yes.
And if I've done them, it makes sense to reuse the pattern.
But it's like things like added extra to the sleeve
Yes.
or another ruffle on the bottom of the skirt. It really does change the look of the dress, but in effect, it's the same dress.
Yes, exactly.
But also, I kind of feel like I want to get my value for money, even though people always say to me, do you save money? And I was like, no, because I just buy more fabric.
No, dressmaking for yourself, you do not save money. You're not doing it to save money. You're doing it to get something that's unique for you,
Absolutely.
fits well, and of course you have that pleasure of having made. I mean, to me, it's a relaxing hobby.
Oh, it is.
As well. And I just, and if people say to you, oh, I really love that dress, it's lovely, isn't it? You sort of go, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Not, yes, I bought it from New Look or whatever. So
yeah, I had a few students this week actually. I had a dress that had flamingos on. And
yes, you do.
Some of the girls were like, oh, I like that dress, miss. I was like, I made it. What? You made it? I was like, yeah. So
this is what to do, encourage these youngsters.
Yes.
I'm going to grab this pattern off the floor while you're doing that.
So what we're going to do now is we're doing the front lining. Now, what's very important is we are not going to sew these top bits here, okay? Because that is actually going to sit within the back lining and then give an invisible seam at the shoulders. So you're not sewing them up here. It looks really professional from the inside and from the outside, as you looked earlier. Right, so we sew all the way down to the end. And what's also good as well, the lining overlaps part of the pocket, so it keeps everything nice and concealed. So it will be a dress that you can wear for many years.
And what about finishing the bottom of that lining? Do you just finish that before you put it in?
Yes, yes. And that was one thing as well that caught me out when I first started sewing. I didn't finish my seams, made something, and then put it in the washing machine. It came out and it was just awful. It was all unravelled. And I was like, oh.
One of my first Vogue patterns I made when I was about 17, 18, and it was silk crepe de chine. Very expensive fabric, and it was like a diamond pattern on the front. And anyway, I did exactly the same thing. You know, 17 years old, who wants to neaten seams?
Yeah.
And mine didn't. It wasn't in the wash. It was standing at a bus stop, realising my seams were coming
Oh,
apart.
really?
Yes.
What did
And
you
that
do?
it was the end of that. I mean, you know, unfortunately I was on my way home, but it was like, I must have been even younger actually, because I drove from 17. So I was probably 15 or 16, but it was, yeah.
Oh.
I never did that again. I always neatened my seams. But
So how old were you when you started sewing?
oh goodness, very young.
Really?
Yes. I mean, I started doing clothes when I was about 10 or 11.
Really?
But it was more like customising then, you know. Sort of.
Oh,
My
so
first
taking
pair
what
of
you had.
trousers, I put flames up the legs.
Oh.
I look stunning.
They call it upcycling now, don't they? That's the word.
But I made things for my Cindy doll, which ages me, not Barbie, Cindy. Because back in the day, you couldn't buy loads of clothes and you couldn't buy beds and cars and things. You made a shoebox into a car, dragged it along with a string. Yes, those are the days.
Oh. And then, did you do it when you were at school?
Yes, I did it at school. But I've got to say that my teacher at school, if I went back to her now to say I've had a whole career in the sewing industry, she'd probably fall off her chair.
Really?
Yeah. I was the one that sewed things to my tights and. You know. But I loved it, and I always wanted to be a bit different.
Yes.
So when I did at the time, I think it was my O-level, I don't remember what it was. Anyway, when I did it, I made a big snake cushion chair.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't help me with at all, because she said, that's a ridiculous project, I'm not helping you, you're on your own.
Oh.
So I phoned Copoc and I got them to send me stuffing.
Yes.
I phoned a fabric company to get the fabric, and yeah, I made this big snake chair.
Oh, you see, the only memory I have when I was at School of Sewing was we did like this cushion, and we had to put fabric paint on of an underwater scene, and then we quilted around it. And I don't know if I've still got it, probably in the loft somewhere, but I was a bit like, it's not that great.
That's much more creative than mine, because I remember making, funny enough, a shirt dress. It's one of the first things we had to make, but it took an entire term.
Oh.
And by the time I'd finished, it was beautifully made.
Yes.
Absolutely superbly made, because every single step of the way she was checking. But I never wanted to wear it.
No, because you'd seen enough of it.
I don't want this dress.
So I'm just going to cut into these corners to help when I pull it through for everything to sit nicely. Also, because it's a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance, if you're using the corduroy for the lining as well, I would recommend just cutting those seams down slightly, just to take that bulk out.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling the shoulders now through, and that puts my lining on the inside. There we go. And it gives us that square neckline.
Yeah, I like that neckline.
There we are. And then pull this
You've got
through.
10 minutes left.
Yeah, we can get the front and back put together.
What do you teach at school? I know you've said before.
Science.
Science. Well, it's, yeah, it's
Yes.
sort of akin. I mean, people I remember when I was doing my teacher training, and I was sort of laughed at by some of the other students. You know, why? Because you have to put literacy and numeracy in every lesson, and it's like, well, what can you do with literacy and numeracy in sewing? Ha ha ha! And I said, well, let me tell you. So when you start talking about seam allowances and or in quilting, when you're talking about angles and grading,
Yeah.
there's a lot of maths that goes into it.
Oh, yeah. I think that's why I enjoy sewing so much. Being a bit of a scientist, it's just following instructions. And if you follow the instructions, you get what you wanted. But we're back doing practicals at school now.
Oh, lovely, because you said last time you weren't able.
Yes, it's been absolutely delightful seeing especially the younger ones who didn't get to do any practical last year. That's the big thing about going to secondary school, isn't
Yes,
it?
absolutely.
So we got the Bunsen out, we lit them, and all we did one lesson was we lit the Bunsen, we all changed the flame, and then we put the Bunsen out, and they were loving it. And it was last thing on a Friday, and they were brilliant.
Yeah.
Right, so I've pressed that really well, and as you saw, I pressed it on the lining side, not on that side. And as you can see, we've got our lovely front now complete. So what we do now is we actually put our curved edge on, okay? So we don't put the curved edge on afterwards, we put it whilst it's lying flat.
So you still haven't done the centre back seam?
No. And that's the thing, that comes very late in this. So just be careful with that. Now, as we were saying before, I've got a straight hem here, but I've got a curve here, okay? And pay attention to which side the pattern is up, because it could be too simple to try and flip it round thinking, well, that's the inside, that's the bottom. It's not actually, it's the other way round.
Yeah, because you want that tulip shape.
Yes, you want that pulling in, that tulip shape. So there are some notches that you need to pay attention to. I'm just going to flip that up. There's my notch, there's my notch. And again, so this goes on first. It doesn't go on after we've put it all together. It goes on whilst it's flat. So as I go through, just making sure, yeah, that will do. So we could do this and then quickly show the dress as it would look, and that would take us to the time, wouldn't it?
It will.
Give the impression.
So you're just going to pin along there.
Yes.
Then you're going to sew.
Yes.
Right, so while you do that, let's look at these fabric bundles, and that takes the pressure off you a little bit. So let's look at these. This is the blue that that Adelle is already using, which is, I think that's I don't know if it's my favourite because I like the chocolate brown too, actually. This is brand new today, $29.99. It's for 2.5 metres. This is a 4.5 well, which is kind of like the sort of thickness of the bumps, the grooves or whatever in the corduroy. So lovely, lovely corduroy here. Nice fabric for the winter. 2.5 metres for $29.99, and this is the aqua. Then we have the beige. So this is a different well. I'll turn it this way. Now half the stock of this one has already gone. Again, it's 2.5 metres. This is $18.99, 2.5 metres, and this is an 8. Well, so it's actually finer. So it's a finer sort of cord on the corduroy. And again, of course, it has a sort of different colour as you brush it one way or another. So do make sure that you lay all the pieces in the same direction. And then we have the same again, but this time in this beautiful chocolate brown. This is a really lovely chocolate brown colour. I do just keep wanting to stroke this. And it's 2.5 metres for $18.99. So that really is a good deal. And of course the post and packing that you've already paid today covers this as well. But if not, it's $3.95 if this is your first purchase. It's absolutely lovely, lovely piece of fabric. So even if you're not going to make this dress, it's really lovely. But also, of course, the pattern. This is the pattern that Adelle is using. This is the So Different Scoop Pinafore. And it has that lovely shaping. So you can have the contrast panels as we've got here. It's got that sort of nice line there, so it's like a tulip hem. Comes in sizes 8 to 22, which in measurements is 33-inch bust to a 50.25-inch bust. So the back of the envelope has all these lovely instructions and information here, describes it, what fabrics you need, the lining you need, etc. and all the different sizing. So that's really handy. And then when you get inside, you've got your layout sheet with some hints and tips and technique information. And then you've also, of course, got the pattern, which I've gently placed on the floor, as you do. This is the pattern. What I really love about this is the fact that the different sizes are in different colours. And Adelle's been talking about the notches, so here are the notches. Personally, I always cut them out in fabric, but you can mark them if you want to, or you can, if you're a rebel, you can snip into them.
I don't think I've ever been called a rebel.
So really lovely, easy to follow pattern. So you can decide which size you make by your measurements, and then having done that, you can follow that line because it's a nice, easy follow because it's a nice colour. And it's single sheet, so you don't have to trace off. You can go straight to cutting on the fabric. So it's really good. So how are we doing? Are we getting there?
Almost done.
Okie dokie. I'll fold this
Just
back up again.
putting the back lining in, and then I can show you how the dress appears.
Looking forward to seeing that because I think it's a lovely dress.
There we go. Let's get that.
Look at that, I managed to fold it back up again. Years ago, that was one of the competitions on. Did you ever watch the Generation Game?
Yes!
Do you remember that many
With
years
Bruce
ago?
Forsyth,
Yes.
and then what was his name? Oh, I loved it. I always wanted to be on it.
Yeah. Well, they
Always.
had one of the competitions
Davison,
they
that's
had
it.
was to refold a paper pattern.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So and it was done by Butterick Patterns, which is actually the oldest pattern company. But yes, so they did the expert showing you how to do it, and then people had to try and do it. And of course, it's not easy to do because they're not the way you think they should be folded.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Most people don't try.
Oh, I loved the Generation Game. And then you used to have the travelator.
Yes, with a
Conveyor
cuddly toy.
belt.
With a cuddly toy.
Always a cuddly toy. Right, so I've got to the point now that we just add our shoulders. Let me show you the dress. Well, let me just flap it out. Let's get it all with the pockets sitting in correctly and everything like that. Okay, there we go. Oh,
It's
we are.
amazing. Look at that. You've got 2 minutes left. You're just going to show us how to do that top bit.
Yeah. So I've already put in
That's your back
the
panel.
back.
Yeah.
Then I've got this. So what we do is we fold it inside out, and then these will sit in here. If it was inside out,
okay.
it's funny how I can't quite show it in 2 minutes, but it will sit in here.
Yes.
And then you finish
Just
there,
stitch across there.
and
turn
then
it
they
back out.
sit nicely in the back, all encased. You don't have any hand sewing to do, nothing whatsoever, and it looks as good outside as it does inside, or it looks good inside as it does outside.
Yes.
But I love this contrast. Look at that.
Doesn't that look amazing? I love that.
I'll make sure it's finished before I go home.
That is
And-
lovely. And then that's the bottom bit there.
Look at that.
So, I mean, look at that shaping, isn't it gorgeous? And what about hem allowance? What has it got?
So it talks about adding bias binding to this, this hem because it's a curve. So you'll put the binding on right sides to right sides, and then as the bias binding folds, it pulls that raw edge in, and then it will give you a nice curved hem.
And then how do you finish it? Do you hand stitch then?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And it will all be lovely. Well, I can't believe actually I really
I do. I think that's gorgeous.
And
I
it
think
feels
it's
so
a
nice.
tad small for me,
Oh,
but it's lovely.
I might try it on before I go home.
Yeah, so I can see you modelling it. That's really cool. I just love the design, and I like some of the way she's done the finishing and making that shaping like that. I think that's very clever.
Yeah, very unique.
And you can see very quickly how you can make variations of that, can't you?
Like if you had a difference, like this here could be down here.
Yes.
You don't necessarily have to have the lining here is fancy. If you've only got a small amount of that special Liberty fabric or anything else that you want, it can just go there.
Yes, exactly, because that lining, the bodice lining, doesn't actually show, does it?
No, it's only
It's
these
just the
side pockets.
Yeah, which is why you've done, as you've done on yours, that you can actually have a different lining.
Yeah.
I think it's lovely, amazing. Well
Thank
done.
you.
Thank you. Been a pleasure. When are you back?
In October, I think it's the second weekend in October. 2 weeks, I think. Are we that close already, aren't we? What date is it now? 18th.
I know. It's frightening, isn't it?
It's the 2nd of October, I think it is.
Is it?
Either way, it's in October.
It's early October. We'll see Adelle back here early October, which would be really good. So we are going to just recap again on the pattern and the fabric. So this is the pattern. So this is the lovely pattern here. And it is 8 to 26 in sizes, which was 33 to 50¼ inch bust. So that's the size range it is. And it comes here, it's a contemporary design, I think that's lovely. And you have here the pattern pieces, which are on paper, so nice, you can use them again and again. And all of the different sizes here are in different colours. So all the lines are in different colours, which makes it much easier to cut out. We are going to look at tomorrow's menu. So tomorrow, what do we have? This is me again. We've got threads and stash builders. Oh, that sounds good. I like the idea of that. At 9 o'clock, we have Over the Rainbow Quilt with Anna Saunders from Alice Caroline. So she's going to come in and show some demos there. At 10 o'clock, we've got pre-cuts. So that would be things like the fat quarters and that sort of thing, and maybe some more lovely designer rolls. I love those. We've also got the manager special at 10 o'clock, which I don't know what it is yet, so I have to wait and see what that is. So we've got the manager special, and it's the last of the week, so it's the final manager special. At 11 o'clock, we've got Flower Power Cushion with Anna Saunders, so that sounds interesting. And then we've got dressmaking fabrics with 20% off in our last hour. So I'm looking forward to all of those tomorrow. But for now, we are going to leave Sewing Street because we're going to move on to Yarn Lane, where we have an hour of sock making kits. And there are some beautiful ones too. We're talking about snuggling up in your pinny. You really want to snuggle up in these socks, I can assure you. They look absolutely lovely. So then I would say now, so thank you very much for joining us today. We will see you tomorrow and see you in October.
Yes.
And if you'd like, please do join me on Yarn Lane. Just go over to, if you're on the website, you can stay on the website, or do you go to yarnlane.com? Go to yarnlane.com and we will see you there.